What's up, people? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Equilibrium. Unfortunately, Danny can't reach us today. He has to work. Maybe he'll come in a little later. Hopefully, he will. But other than that, we got the usual suspects in the house. We got Mr. John over here with his Vikings hat on. I don't know why he's wearing the Vikings.
I feel like he's about to hate on me right now. Look, it feels like it matches. All right.
Okay, it matches. I'll give you that. Need a new team. We also got my homeboy, my brother, Terrence. How you doing, Terrence?
All right, awesome.
What's up,
Great answer.
Excellent. Good to have you guys back on the show. Missed last week, so Danny's missing this week. Hopefully, he'll be back next week and we can have our full team back again.
Yeah, so we got this rotating chair of people. Like I've missed. Is Terrence the 100%er here? Is he always here? Because I've missed one already as well.
Always here.
Terrence, you the man. I think you already knew that, but I figured shout out.
Terrence always sticks with his commitments, So that's definitely not an issue. So today's episode, we are going to talk about the last episode of Stargirl.
It was episode 10, I believe, titled Brainwave Junior. All right.
And I'll just start by saying I thought it was fucking amazing.
All right.
I loved the end of it. Like, I watched it back to back, man. It was so good. What did you guys think?
People are obsessed with numbers. May I ask, like, if you wanted to start with a number, or should we end the show with what we thought? Maybe
like on a scale? Oh, 8+.
Yeah, sure. Maybe a 1 through 10, because then maybe like after our talk, maybe do we stay? Maybe do we go up a point? Maybe come down a point? What do we think?
Well, if you're talking 1 the best, 10 the worst.
Yeah. Or wait, what? 10 the worst? Who does that?
Okay. Well, sometimes I do it that way, but okay.
Feels very Willy Wonka, like you like.
So 10 the best.
Yes. As the normal world, as the humans do it.
So I give
as
it
Terrence
a 10.
would say.
10 out of 10.
Awesome.
And you?
Me, I would probably say probably a 7. I actually really, really, really like this episode, but I'll get into kind of my issues. This show does an amazing thing that I've never seen a show do, where I'm gripped and compelled and 100% in 1 second. And all of a sudden I go, oh, why'd you do that? And I've never seen a show do that to me so consistently, but I think the show is, it's a good watch. It's definitely a good watch. It's better than a lot of stuff I'm watching lately. So,
okay. Yeah. And you, Terrence?
I definitely give it a 10 out of 10. Did you want me to go into it? Or,
yeah, go
for it. Go nuts, man.
Okay. Yeah, I like what they did with the Henry character, who's the other version of Brainwave in the comic.
Sun.
And I just like that the episode managed to surprise me, because everything that I've seen thus far, by and large, has been stuff that I predicted, and they've played it out in similar ways to the comic books, but there were a few times where I was able to surprise someone like myself, where I used to read a lot about these characters. I was not expecting them to kill Henry, especially that he's supposed to become a hero later on. And just kind of going through, him learning about his dad and essentially developing more understanding, and even being proud of his dad at one point and wanting to help him become a good person, which he believed him to be so, but he just was missing a lot of the finer details. He had gathered a lot of information from watching the tapes, but there's only so much a person can learn from watching someone in a video, because when you have specific questions, you can't just ask the video and then it just kind of responds to you. You're sort of left with what you see and hear, and that may not be the full story. So,
well, yeah, I love that you brought the tapes up, because you guys know I had a lot of issues hanging from the last couple of episodes, and I feel like this episode really kind of it was almost like it was speaking to me. It's like, yes, we'll cover those. Let me cover those now. And a couple of them felt really cheap, and a couple of them felt well done. And let me probably start with let's do the Henry stuff, because like I've said, I think Brainwave and Henry and that whole dynamic has been really, really solid the last probably 2 or 3 episodes, I'd say, and obviously a lot of buildup going into the plans and stuff. My whole deal is that they went with the amnesia thing, which I thought was kind of lame, and then all of a sudden they just fixed it in the same episode, which I'm gonna say there's a lot of lazy writing in this episode, but they give you the payoffs that you want. They do a lot of the stuff that I think either was expected or subverts. Either way, I feel we get a lot of quote unquote satisfying moments. So like, let's start with the idea that we find out a lot about the mom. That was something I really wanted to know about. Mary, I believe is her name, and they throw a lot at us, so let's start with a little bit. There's a lot to unpack with the Brainwave storyline. The idea that he has the amnesia feels like this cheap way to give Henry a chance to connect with his dad, even though in the same episode he kills him. I mean, spoiler, obviously. So I felt like it was a little cheap, but I liked the scenes. I thought they were really well done. They plant the seed with the mom felt really cold. That's what his dad had told Henry the first time. So knowing that Brainwave can't actually quote unquote manipulate him right now because he doesn't have his powers or his memories, immediately you're like, oh, Icicle did it. Oh, that's gonna be why. And they set out all the pieces up to make Henry a Goodman, which cool. I wanted that to happen, so sure. But then we have like the staff go off by itself, because like we have Henry like wanting to protect his dad, knowing Jordan's a bad guy, and we need to get to Stargirl. So the whole point is we've already set this up to where if Henry just gets to Stargirl and gets everything and tells her everything, we're good to go. He shows up at Stargirl's house. He can fucking brain everybody, like Pat and the mom and everybody, and tell everybody everything. But we just can't do that. So we have the staff disappear and get fucking put on the shelf because we need Stargirl to be powerless, quote unquote. And it was really strange to have Henry leave his dad's side so many times after his dad came out of the coma. So I don't know about you guys, but I felt like they hit all the marks we wanted, but I felt like they were a little cheap and fast giving them to us all in one episode.
Let me finish where I was going with my thought.
Yeah.
First off, to me, the idea of Brainwave having amnesia is not cheap. Because number one, that would have killed most people. That blast is supposed to incinerate you. And if you point it at someone's head, and if they manage to not get incinerated in the process, then it's like they will never function again. So Brainwave is really powerful. So when that happened, I was like, he's either going to be dead or he's going to have some form of amnesia.
Oh, that has nothing to do with it. I was talking about how they're going to deliver the storyline moving forward. Kind of like, because you have to do something to Brainwave. Otherwise, he'll know his son's intentions or he'll have the power to just come back and fuck everything up anyway. You have to shelve him somehow for the episode to work.
But my point still remains. Like, to me, that's not cheap because that's what should happen. 100%.
Why should?
Well, because of what I just explained. Like when the cosmic staff is pointed at someone and you do a blast of that caliber, that person should be incinerated. But if you point it directly at their head, then it's going to kill them or it's going to give them some mild form of amnesia. In the case of Brainwave, because he's so powerful, he was able to counteract that without dying, but it did result in him having minor amnesia.
But why is those are the only things the staff will do. I figured it was impressive that it just didn't fucking kill him. That
Well, yeah,
was where I was at. And and Danny and I both speculated it was either going to be amnesia or he lost his powers or a combo of both. And they straight up went with both until
but
the
I mean,
end of the show when we didn't
that's
need it anymore.
that's what I'm saying though. Like it's only going to fall in that area. So they're
Mhm.
absolutely staying true to what that's supposed to do in
I
that particular
suppose.
situation.
I can maybe give you that.
So
I thought
well,
it was cheap
it,
because it was resolved in the same episode.
I mean, it
if
is
that makes
the
sense.
it is the facts of what that's supposed to do. I mean, that's not wrong at all. Now, how a person feels about it,
Sure, I could probably give you
how
that. Yeah.
how a person feels about it is a completely different discussion.
Well, I'm just
But-
saying that we see a lot of that in this episode, so it's just kind of one. It's just kind of more. I want people to see the pattern in this episode. And again, I rate this very highly. I think the emotional stuff is there, and I think this show is doing a very good job with a lot of character stuff. So I really don't want people to get that twisted as we move forward.
When it comes to any comic book character, there's a pattern for all of them.
Sure.
Very, very readable patterns. Every single character, period. They have patterns. Unless you're dealing with a character like, say, Legion, Charles Xavier's son, or Crazy Jane, to where they have so many different personalities at any given moment, it's extremely difficult to track a pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do like that you had the interaction with Henry and his dad and how they played that out based on his situation. And the way that Pat was dealing with his disappointment and how Barbara decided to respond to the situation, like he was not surprised, but he was more like, oh, that sucks. You know, maybe she'll come around, but if she doesn't, as long as she's safe, then I'll be fine. Like I'll just deal with my pain. And the way that he responded to that, the way that Luke Wilson decided to act those scenes out is exactly what his character is supposed to do. And that's, again, part of the larger reason as to what makes him such a great person, what made him a great sidekick, and how you can understand that he belongs with those types of people in the sea of greatness. You know, so, you know, you have a lot of really good character moments.
Sure.
And that, you know, Henry was trying to redeem himself based on, you know, what happened with Yolanda in the past. And, you know, we saw that she was still upset, which makes sense. And I was like, she's not going to fully embrace him. And the group is not going to do that either. But they may be willing to cooperate with Courtney if it means that you can take down someone or put down a plan that will stop the bad guys from executing something terrible. So I do like that she was able to at least cooperate despite her distance from Henry, due to a justifiable reason. I get it, but it's just all these moments.
Distance from who?
Yolanda, like her distance.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Barb.
So, you know, these character moments are very important. Like even the moment where you have Icicle come into the hospital room, and there was just like a kind of a chill to it, no pun intended, just because he was so calculated with that when he came in. He's just like, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I'm here to help you out.
Can I talk some bullshit though? Does nobody work in this fucking hospital? Like, he's a doctor of the hospital. You think he'd have people fucking roaming around him constantly, and they act like the hospital's like a Dollar Tree. Like that shit closes at 8, and as long as the room is closed, there's no lights on. That's not how a hospital works. You don't turn the lights off. Like you don't turn in for the day. There's fluorescent lights on 24 fucking 7.
Right.
Unless,
I definitely noticed that. And I feel I can do that all the time, but it's not real, so I don't tend to like.
Man, I don't
nitpick on that.
Come on, though.
Yeah, like,
come on, though.
It doesn't.
It gets Henry there. It lets Jordan fuck around with this like cosmic staff. It lets Brainwave leave the hospital without being discharged. It lets a lot of stuff happen because just the hospital's not operating. It is so silly. It is absolutely silly. I cannot get over the lack of realism.
Regardless,
when they want to ground it. When they're trying to ground it, that is the thing.
It's comic book stuff.
Yeah.
So like, to me,
it's wizards with laser swords. Come on, guys.
it's still based on a comic book, so it's only
Oh,
going to
come
be so
on, watch
realistic,
Arrow.
like,
That's horseshit. Come on.
yeah, and Arrow has a lot of unrealistic stuff in it too. By
I'm
the way.
sure,
Like,
but first season of Arrow is pretty damn grounded.
it's still very.
He
It's
gets
still
shot by his mom and almost died.
It's still very unrealistic in comparison to reality.
Well,
It's
we
more
have
grounded. It's more grounded when you compare it to stuff like the Avengers, for example. Sure.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about something that is quote unquote in their own.
But it still has those ridiculous comic book elements. So to me, I'm like,
a hospital not working like a normal hospital.
Well, I mean, even if they were to write it where all those things were there, then they would just write the characters in a way to get around it. I mean, that's all you do. You just sort of switch up how certain.
So you can do it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying the show should take the L. Is what I'm saying. The show can take the L there. Again,
no,
I still think the show is fine.
No, I disagree.
I'm just saying people are giving a lot of passes to things going on.
I get you, but to me, it's not a problem.
Oh, don't worry. I got about 50 more, but I still like the episode.
And I got about 200 more, so we can do this all day. But like
we can do this.
Well, that's what this show is for. That's why we have Stargirl Talk. So you guys do what you gotta do.
You know, in terms of like when the crew they decided to go down into the tunnels. I found that to be interesting because it's not necessarily the smartest move, but
and especially having Courtney lead. Come on.
Well, I mean, Courtney is their natural leader.
Yeah, but come on. What's his face? Mr. Muscle Dude.
No,
Rick.
He's too hot-headed.
But you put the tank in front. You put the tank in front. She doesn't have power, and she's not even proved herself to be a tactician.
The tank needs to be in a position to where you can direct it. If you have it in the forefront with him being so raging,
then put Yolanda in front. She's got cat-like reflexes.
And look what he did anyways. He was supposed to go on a mission.
Yeah, he went.
And he was like, "No, I'm getting Grundy out."
Well, you know why he did that was so he couldn't be part of the fight in the other room. That's why they moved him. But it also still play to his character, which I'm fine with. But I'm still fine with it because it played to his character.
No, it plays to his character and it was well written, but that was still a dumbass move on his part. Grundy would rip his ass in half.
That's why he can't be the leader. You know what I mean? Because he didn't stick to the mission. He went on the backtrack and he took personal.
No, but that's fine. That's after the fact stuff. I'm talking about going right in there in the first place. Either you put Beth in front because Beth has already been down there. So one, either have her lead because she's already been there, or two, put Yolanda in front because she has a magical suit with big claws and she has cat-like reflexes. Stargirl has nothing except gymnastics, and we've already proven that she can be beaten by most of the people that she's fighting without the staff.
But as the scenes have proven, that she doesn't only have gymnastics; she's able to do punches and kicks and everything else.
After the fact,
she can fight. In fact, which brings me to my next point. No. Which brings me to my next point with Dragon King. She was able to hold her own.
Ooh, and that's horse shit, by the way.
But even though she held her own, she still ended up getting wrecked in the end, and she almost died again.
She's alive.
Yeah, because
nothing wrecked. She didn't even get cut.
No.
Because Yolanda saved her ass.
She didn't even get cut.
Look, wrecked means that you are like number one. She was thrown around.
Didn't even get injured.
Being senseless. No, but if Yolanda didn't give her staff, she would have died right then and there. She was completely defenseless,
I'm fine with
on the ground. To me, if you are seconds away from death and someone has to intervene to save you, you got fucking wrecked. Period. Period. I like that when they have these characters fighting, they show you they're exceptional. There's a lot of stuff that they can do naturally. However, at the end of the day, they are still dealing with characters that have decades of experience. Yep. And when it comes down to it, they are going to end up winning the fight.
This dude's like 70 years old. Essentially, he's supposed to be like some samurai dude with a ton of power, and he's a badass. If anything, if you really want me to believe this fight at all, we should have done like a Shredder Ninja Turtles thing from like the original Ninja Turtles movie, like in 1992 or whatever the fuck, where he was like Shredder. They took out all the fucking stupid mindless drones, and it's all of them getting wrecked to him. The fact that Stargirl, without her staff, didn't get cut once or twice, just even as like in the arm or the leg or something. Dude, this is like a chick essentially fighting Ra's al Ghul. Like, come on now. Like,
no.
Right.
Nowhere near that.
So
extreme.
Okay, fine. So Dr. Ito, who's been alive for decades, multiple decades, and is probably a skilled swordsman, had to have taught
but
his
he's
stupid daughter all kinds of
nothing.
shit.
He's nothing compared to the leader of the League of Shadows. Nowhere near that.
Okay,
shit.
fine. Then I won't compare him to that. But you said he was super, super powerful, and he's a 15-year-old who discovered a cosmic staff.
I said that
is going toe to toe with this dude in swordsman skills.
I said that his
intellect.
Now. He's a genius. Number one, he's a great hand-to-hand combatant. But even still,
Stargirl didn't have nothing. Come on.
Well, she has something, but look, to make it interesting, you have to have the characters do something. Like, because otherwise, realistically, in that scenario,
then get rid of all the nerd drone people and have the team fight. Have the team fight together him.
Realistically, what you would have in that situation is they all would have died in seconds by Dragon King.
Absolutely, but also Courtney defending herself against him by herself for a very long time and not even be injured other than get thrown off a table.
It actually,
that's even worse.
The fight scene itself wasn't long. First of all, it was actually very short. It's just
it was too long for her and Ito.
Well, no, it wasn't that long. Like, to me, if they were fighting for over 5 minutes, then I'd give you that. But it was really short. Like, if Anzo were to pull up that fight right now, it's really short. But no, he shouldn't have killed her in that situation, because then you wouldn't have any show. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're gonna write it a certain way, and like, you shouldn't be surprised by that. Like, come on now.
I know I'm not surprised, because I'm seeing a lot of bad writing in a lot of TV shows, so I'm not surprised.
There's nothing bad about it. This is just the way
come
that it
on,
goes.
not
this is the way it goes with comic book material.
I can find that clip if you want.
And I like the fact that the daughter is like, let me kill her. Let me fucking do it. Let me do it. I liked that. And then you see his face.
Was awesome. Yeah.
And the face reveal is fine. I'm saying that you could have set that fight up way better. There's no reason. And also, oh man, are these kids totally okay with murder? Because there's a lot of sloppy, slashy murder sounds.
Okay.
Because Yolanda's killing people.
No.
Courtney's got a spear with a stabby thing.
No.
They don't know that these mindless drones aren't people.
No. They are not okay with murder. In fact,
they seem to be pretty good with it.
No. Yolanda, for all of her posturing, she would never kill Henry. In fact, when he died,
I don't care about Henry. I'm talking about they killed all these people that they actually killed.
But here's the thing, though. Like, these heroes, they kill. Like, even the Avengers kill.
Well, now we do know that. We know they're willing to murder. We know that.
But the way that they write these characters, they tend to do that, but not because they want to. They're just in a situation.
And Anzo, when you do this, pause like every 6 seconds so you don't get copyrighted.
So, like, the character, like I brought up to Humans many years ago about the Avengers. I'm like, when they decided to do those,
these are high school kids.
Forwards, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm talking about the nature of heroes. These characters, they kill a lot of people.
They've only been heroes for less than a month.
Exactly, which is why when they're in this situation, they're going to make bad decisions, but it's not because they want to kill people. A lot of that has to do with frustration, panicking, not knowing what to do.
Well, this is survival. I'm fine with the idea that they're doing survival. But I'm saying
it's not so much that they
we went straight to murder.
Well, yeah, like not even just kids though, but like if you put a human in a situation to where they feel that they're going to die, a lot of times they're not going to be thinking clearly. The emotions will take over their entire being, and they're going to start doing stuff. And in the moment, it may seem right, but they will come to regret it later. They're going to be like, dang, we didn't have to do it like that. I should have been smarter, or we could have spared this life to get this information. It's the superhero journey 101 with how they're doing these characters. It's nothing new and it's nothing special, but it has to be executed a certain way.
This is the fight scene, and this clip is only 3 minutes and 42 seconds. So as you can see, that it's
Okay, dead,
Okay, so
dead. And there's like 6 of them on her.
Strong, like what? Oh, come on, like okay, so
nitpicking is at the most.
Oh my
man.
God,
it's
dude.
ridiculous. But you see how short that was.
Oh
That's
my
not a long
God!
fight.
Stop calling it nitpicking. It's like you could write it better so she's not put in a situation like that. Like to where
Okay.
it's like it's multiple people having to like help her and do stuff. Like right before like he cuts through the thing, like Yolanda uses the claws to catch the sword and she gets tossed away, and so she gets another chance. Or Henry stopped the sword.
I can say that about every.
But you let Courtney do it herself.
I can say that about every single comic book.
I don't care. I'm talking about this episode.
But
Can we
you
just
should
talk
care
about
because care because the main point is that sure, these characters should be wrecked. Captain America, when he caught Proxima Midnight Staff, he should have evaporated. He should have been less than atoms, but they didn't write it that way. They wrote it so they come in and kick ass and they're like, yeah, and you build up hope in the crowd that there's a chance that they may be able to take out these people later. It's the same kind of tactic that they're using in Stargirl. There are many situations where they should have got wrecked, but they're not going to write it like that.
And that was to show that she could at least fight without her staff.
And I'm totally fine with that. She can hold her own. I'm not saying she should have died. I'm saying a little bit of help. The fact that she can handle herself with a decade-old dude with apparently superpowers and weird whatever.
You gotta put emphasis on the fact that she almost died again. She needed help. What? Did you not see the scene when she was on the ground and Yolanda had to toss her the cosmic staff? She would have died. She was defenseless in that moment. She was wrecked. He was standing over
hand-to-hand combat with a guy. It's fine. It's fine. It's all called nitpicking. Why even bother?
John, I got you, but I'm just saying, she was about to die. She was about to die. There's no way to slice that.
Pun intended. There's 100 ways that you could have done that. It's
I could probably
silly.
give you.
It's silly. That scene is silly.
Okay, look. There are going to be these quote unquote silly scenes.
No, the fight scenes were great. They were beautiful and they were neato.
But
no, the choreography was neat.
I could come up with 1,000 ways to redo that scene.
Also, she did like a triple super flip. That was awesome. I've never actually seen her do that without the cosmic staff, so that was neato.
Because without the staff, she's still great. That just makes her greater.
This is the first time we've watched her be a hero without the staff.
But I'm saying that when it comes to these characters, it's not their powers that make them great. Not all the time. That just adds to it. It's kind of like when you ask someone if you had powers, what would you do? They're not going to necessarily be a hero. That has to be characteristics that's already in them to begin with. It's not the power. And then the same thing when it comes to Courtney or any of these other more human-based characters, they already have exceptional speed, strength, fighting ability. Their ability to learn is better than the average person in the degree that they could pick things up on their own and when someone else teaches them. It's all the makings of why these characters are so great, for better or for worse, whether you're talking about the heroes or the villains.
Well,
what do you think? What do you think, Anko?
What?
Yeah, what do
I
you
said
think,
that got quiet like John wasn't saying anything,
No, I'm good.
Like I said, man, I think it's a lot of nitpicking. You know what I mean? It's a TV show. You can't make her, you know what I mean? You gotta show that you gotta show that she's at least capable of holding some of her own. You know what I mean? Like, she's gonna be Stargirl. She can at least.
We have proven she put Brainwave in the hospital.
That's a good example. Let's use that for the humans that are listening that are not familiar. Every situation that Courtney has been in with one of the members of the Injustice Society, the only reasons that she survived, aside from obvious plot armor and stuff like that, she got lucky. With Brainwave, she did a lucky move to put him in the hospital.
Exactly.
With Dragon King, she got lucky She happened to get saved by her friend, and then she did a blast.
That was not lucky, doing a triple flip, going hand-to-hand combat.
No. I'm talking about the fact that
lucky.
she did. No, it's luck when you're about to die, when your friend hands you a weapon just in time to block an attack. That's considered lucky.
Oof.
And
I'm not talking about when she got the staff. I'm talking about her going hand-to-hand with the Dragon King.
Okay, but my
point is that she gets lucky.
Died.
She gets lucky in all her situations. She almost died with Brainwave. She almost died with Dragon King. There is a pattern there. You talk about patterns. That is a pattern.
Staff for the first one. She didn't have the staff for this.
Exactly, which makes it even more so of a reason that she got lucky. The fact that she did not have her primary weapon and she managed to survive. Again, there are plot armor devices, but aside from that, when you analyze the situation, she was very fortunate. There is something called timing in these situations. The way that Yolanda timed, oh shit, I gotta get it to her. If she would have hesitated for a second, no more Stargirl. Now they gotta get another one. That's what would have happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? What else you have?
I mean, I guess since we're already at the fight scene, I mean, no, because I want to keep the climax. Fucking hell! Finally, thank God that Barb's not like retarded. Like, oh my God! Like, she just like, at least she asked Pat. Like, pretty much her kicking him out of the house was what I thought should have happened with the car accident thing. Like a no, you need to tell me the truth, or you need to do whatever, because I left you in charge of my girl. I don't know what's going on. So I appreciate her essentially kicking Pat out. I thought that was a good move. Again, resolved a little quick. Man, she does a lot of really smart things that would make sense, and then she does a lot of dumb things that make no sense. Like, let's go with the scene where Pat shows up to her office and she decided to start Googling Starman and like all that stuff and sending emails about her daughter and stuff. First of all, why are you doing that on the company computer? That's just silly, especially if somebody's telling you that your boss is potentially like a supervillain, regardless of whether or not she believes it. If you believe enough to look into this stuff, do it on your personal phone. Don't do this on the company email and then leave it open constantly. Also, why you like, how has Jordan not noticed that Luke Wilson is in that photo with his son on her desk? Because they would know what Stripesy looks like because he doesn't wear a mask. They would know him very well.
Okay, when it comes to the number of things that would be considered not smart or silly with any of these characters, I could spend many hours on all these characters as to why they do silly things, but as is the making to the story, right? You know, you got to have characters doing things, because if they do it perfect, there's no story, which brings me to Barbara.
But that's lazy writing. You don't need people to be stupid. You need them to have cause and effect. Like, watch the first Predator film. Nobody is stupid in that film. Nobody. But people still die and things progress naturally.
That's a more concentrated story. But when it comes to Barbara, like, to me, I never took it as this woman is stupid. She is one of the many characters in almost any comic book that you would find where you have a bunch of characters where you're like, shouldn't she know something? How come she didn't ask this? How come he didn't do that? It's always the same kind of stuff. But at some point, they're either going to find out. They're either going to find out or they're going to be told something. So that didn't concern me at all. And I do like that Barbara told her daughter, that's not your father. Starman is not your father. Because it's not. That's been a running thing throughout the whole show. And I'm just like, I'm glad that her mother now told her that, because Sam Curtis is her father and he is evil as shit. And when she finds out, like how I was mentioning before, with that story arc that should induce, it's going to be a long kind of recovery for Stargirl mentally.
But how is this even a mystery? First of all, we have the goggles. So I've already bitched about that. So I'll leave that alone. the fucking locket in the pictures, and she Googled Starman. Like, come on. Like,
Courtney's real father was
it doesn't matter. But wouldn't Barbara know what the guy she banged to make a kid?
No. Even in the comics, Sam Curtis was hiding a lot of stuff. It was surprising.
Talking about the show.
They're playing it out. They're playing.
We have pictures of Joel McHale.
Yeah, but they don't know about Sam Curtis though. They don't, because this dude was low key. Like, he posed as something. Number one, he posed as a regular guy, and then at one point he posed as being a heroic guy.
Shit, I watched the promo for the next episode. The actor looks nothing like Joel McHale. So when you see that character, the mom's gonna be like, "I don't know what you're talking about." That's
well,
not.
Yeah, but they've kind of already addressed that in the beginning, though. I remember that was a big thing that
4 episodes ago. It's insane.
No. But I'm talking about when humans notice that, okay, like, they look different. How come they can't tell in the picture? And I kept saying for a long time, wait, they will show you.
I don't care about the picture. I care about the wife knowing what the dad looks like. The guy that she banged. Does Facebook and shit just not exist here?
No. She knows. That's why they had a scene where she was like, "That's not your father."
Then show her a picture of the actual father then.
Okay, but
open the present at this point.
But here's the thing.
I don't understand why this thing's a mystery. It shouldn't be a mystery when the mom exists.
Courtney did not accept it until she met him. She's going to meet him in the next episode. That's when that happened, because you are now talking about the difference between a person in a picture, what your mother tells you, and what you already believe. You now have to directly talk to this person to see what's what, but there are other things at play that they might play up in the show that's slightly different from the comics, but the make of it is pretty much the same. I just have to see how they tackle it, and then at that point I go, yeah, that's pretty much the same. Or I might have one of those, oh, that's surprising, I didn't think they were going to do that, which may make the variable different.
I'm just gonna go with, I think the parentage history thing should have been resolved within the first 4 episodes, because it's just silly, especially when the goggles came into play. But what I will talk about with Barb, it's nice to see her actually being a competent character. Like, now that she's in on it and is thinking about stuff, in this episode alone, she finally did something that really annoyed the shit out of me. She fucking recorded the Norwegian old people, because everybody knows, if you're in an ethnic family, because I'm Hispanic, I know I don't go out in the sun, I'm sorry. Everybody knows when you have relatives who can speak another language, when they're about to talk shit about you, they change that language real fast. And there's no way nobody ever noticed that all of a sudden the 2 old people started speaking Norwegian. And everybody just smiled and laughed. And I go, nah, this is some horseshit. People are going to say something. And the fact that Barb recorded them, I'm like, hell yeah. When she was starting to buy stuff, I liked it. I thought that
was smart that she recorded it. But I don't think that it's so much that they were dumb or they made a mistake. It's like they didn't have a reason to do that yet. Once somebody gives you information or brings something to your forefront, you now start thinking about it. Because before that, it was like, oh, they're nice. They're
they wouldn't know. I only knew it as a viewer. Yeah. But when they had the dinner, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, they kept saying stuff in Norwegian. It was like, oh, okay, so they're saying something they don't want us to know. And so then on top of that, just Barb doing that and having the thought process to do that, I thought it was a really clever thing. But again, in the same episode, I go, if you really think that Pat's a good man versus bad man, take his picture off your desk, lay it down, and then also don't fucking do all your sleuthing on your company computer. People know that. Come on now.
I have a lot of friends, okay, and a lot of them are Hispanic, and I've been to plenty of family dinners where at some point 1, 2, maybe more, they will start speaking Spanish. Now, because I'm usually with a friend and maybe a handful of friends, depending on the situation, of course I don't speak Spanish aside from a couple of bad words, but I can't really have a full-blown conversation in Spanish and understand what that human is saying. So they will tell me, he said this or she said that, but I don't think they're saying something bad. I really had no reason to do that. I just thought some things are private. Maybe they were talking about what's going to happen with the tax person, or it could be anything, and it's none of my goddamn business. That's why they changed the language. I mean, you got different scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. I just look like it's just one of those things where I go, they're obviously hiding something, and I like the fact that she was smart enough to realize, like, when they did it in her office, it's like, you know what, I'm going to record them because they're doing something. They obviously are saying something that I don't want to hear. I would have to talk about some of the stuff with, man, the coincidence of them being in the same diner at the same time. I can be okay with that because, you know, love works in mysterious ways. I'll deal with that. The way they made it sound was that Pat's been like sleuthing around, and he literally delivers the line that I tried to give this up. It's like, no, you didn't, you fucking liar. Like, that's why you're here. You kept all the info. You've been sleuthing around. Your whole point of being here was because you knew something was going on here, and he blatantly lied again. So was that a blatant lie, or did the writers fuck that up?
Well, here's the thing. Pat, for very short periods, has tried to be normal.
Yeah.
But he can't get away from who he is. In fact, I feel like pretty much the majority of JSA members have done the same thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna hang it up, or no, I know I'm gonna go here and it's gonna be different, but then they go track down a case. They're like, wait a minute, the bad guy lives around the corner. Man, I should leave him alone. That's not my thing anymore. But they always go back to that because one of the underlining themes to a lot of these comic book characters is that when you try to shy away from who you are, you cause yourself more stress and frustration because you are living a lie. That's not really who you are. You're not meant to be normal and boring. Like, you're meant to be amazing. Yeah. And you're also meant to help other people realize that you're amazing. That's your life. So Pat knows that. So I feel like it's not so much that he lied or they messed up the writing. It's just he really has tried, but he just can't get away from it.
But I just don't understand where it felt like that was his actual motivation to go back to Blue Valley, was because he was investigating these people. And she just happened to be from there, so it worked out perfect for him. This felt like a blatant lie after he finally told the truth. You know what I mean? Like, he told her everything, and she was mad at it. And it was like, he's telling her everything. And it's like, oh, no, but now you're lying because you followed them here. That was the whole point. That was the point of the show.
Right. Like,
so that's either a blatant lie from Pat, which is either, man, that really hurts a lot of his character building, or that's a writer fuck up. And either way, I prefer the writer fuck up because I actually really like Pat, and I'd like to think he's a truthful dude.
No, so. he is, but look, he's the same as a lot of heroes and psychics. They do so much lying, but see, I feel like it always depends on one's intention. Like, I feel that the intention and context is everything. I know that most humans don't care about that, but that's 100% the truth. Like, I find myself, when dealing with any human, I say stuff like, why did you say that? Or why didn't you say that? Why did or didn't you do something? And then, when that happens, I want to know the answers. Like, why did that happen? Like, why did that person do that? So...
Well, easy, because it was either in the comic books or
yeah, but you know they have to do that to, you know, keep them safe and, you know, protect their family. It's all the lifestyle of that. It's all part of that lifestyle that you want to protect those around you, because no matter what, a lot of times they can't handle stuff. I remember there was an episode of The Flash where Iris was about to tell the whole fucking world that Barry was the Flash against his wishes.
Because Iris is the worst character in that show.
Aside from that, though, like, whenever these characters,
we are the Flash.
Yeah, that shit is silly. But like, my point is that when you bring in emotions, it's hard to know for sure how these characters are gonna respond. So Pat finds himself in a conflicted moment. Like, I want to tell Barbara. I told her some stuff.
He was telling her the truth, though, and then he lied again, man.
Right, because he's thinking, like, does she really need this much information? Because it's just like, he's already seen that
She
can
kicked him
barely
out of
handle
the
stuff.
house.
She kicked. Yeah, I know. I don't like that at all. By the way, I think that was a ridiculous emotional response, and I don't
felt
agree
it
with
was
that.
a perfect rational response. I think
No,
that
no,
should have
no,
happened during the car crash.
I'm not
episode,
saying
to be
no.
completely honest.
Bear in mind for the humans listening. I'm not saying that's bad writing. I'm just saying that is a typical human response. Like when I was watching that scene and I saw the expression that she had on her face, like I felt the intensity. I'm like, oh my god, like she's gonna kick him out. She's probably gonna divorce him. They'll fix it later, but just at this moment in time, the only thing I said to myself, the only thing that's going to surprise me is if she says, even though she's upset, like, I understand, please explain everything else and provide clarity. That's not realistic because that's not what humans do. They're always in the moment.
The episode she came back where her daughter was in a hospital the first time she'd left her alone with somebody else. She comes back and goes, "Hi, I'm home." It's like, come on now. Like, what are you doing? And then she's like, you were about to tell me the truth about something. I'm just tired. I'm going to go to bed. It's like, come on now. And this episode was going to rectify that. And I would argue they pseudo did by kicking Pat out because she was pissed off. But then it was just like, man, okay, we resolved. We gave payoffs and resolved everything and killed a character all in one episode. Again, that's why the word rushed is being thrown around a lot.
No. Let me speak on that whole Barbara, it's time to go to bed. I've heard that from a lot of my female friends and my mother when they don't want to continue a conversation is because they're upset, they're stressed, or they give you excuses about how they're dealing with so much stuff that they can't handle a 5-minute conversation. That shit is irritating.
Her daughter was in a car accident while she was gone for the first time, leaving her alone with her new husband.
I understand the emotion, but that doesn't make it right. When someone is trying to explain something to you and it seems that they have a look of desperation on their face, out of respect, you should at least hear the person out and then do what you're going to do.
Then take a nap.
Got a special guest in the house today, guys.
What's up, Danny? So and then I wanted to speak on the whole
Is this a doppelganger or is this the real thing?
I don't know, can't hear him.
Comic, we're just gonna pretend you're here.
I wanted Henry to, have that relationship with his dad. But the thing that pained me is that, deep down I knew like he wasn't gonna get that. It was gonna be short lived. And then when you get to because with Henry there was a lot of distance between him and his father, and he wanted to have that closeness with his father, and through the ability of being a telepath and then also possessing forms of telekinesis, that he was like, man, this is a moment where I can connect with my dad. We have something in common. Maybe he can help me and maybe I can learn about him, which is why he was watching every single tape that he could get his hands on, to only go to the situation where he was like, come on, Dad, it's time to go. It's time to go. And he's like, nah, son. Dad, what you talking about? He's like, they turned you back. He's like, nah, son, this is who I always been. I'm like, oh, man, that's horrible, right? But
again, I got to go back to the tapes and I got to go back to this episode where we had 50 revelations.
Hold on, John.
Yeah.
I know why you think Iris is a bad character. I know exactly why you don't like Iris. I know exactly why you don't like
It's because she has way too much melanin, dude. Detective Joe.
I know that's exactly why you don't like her.
I will always say that, Barry and Detective Joe West don't have the greatest, relationship on the show that I felt got sidelined for no reason, even though they're the greatest scenes ever made. And there should have been a Ralph Dibny, Detective Joe West spinoff show that would have been fucking incredible.
They always write in those scenes with Joe and Barry, by the way, when Joe brings him back to the forefront. That happens almost every season.
I'm sorry. Joe West is one of the coolest characters in the CW. Him and Detective Lance, him and Paul Blackthorne. Can I just have like a show with those two fucking around with Ralph Dibny? It'd be great.
Danny just left. I guess he's having technical difficulties.
That's bullshit. What happened to that actor? But like,
But again, I
But-
can't get over the 50 revelations that happen in this episode and how quickly either they're brushed to the side or they are concluded without anything, and they think that a death scene or just a cool action scene is going to make me forget about them, and I think it's really shitty.
No. That it's not brushed to the side. I
So
assure
far,
you,
so far. But again,
it's,
there he
What's
goes.
that, Danny?
We can hear him. Danny, we hear you.
We did hear him.
Break through the ether, sir. We care. We miss you.
Anzo,
Dad.
Anzo, you
Daddy.
remember? You remember our conversations? Remember, Anzo, we'd have these discussions. You asked me questions. What was one of the main things I kept telling you, Anzo? Like, trust me, you will get your answers. Trust me, they're gonna get to it. Did I not say that, Anzo, like countless times?
Yeah.
But I'm afraid we're gonna get some of the things that we got in here where they were throwaway lines. Like the idea that they were cousins should have been like this huge moment. But it was like, oh my God, you're my cousin. And then we moved to the next scene in the high school and everybody's all pissed off again.
But they're not though. I'm glad they wrote it like that because again, it matches the underlining thing that they've been saying the whole show. That's not her father. So that means that's not the cousin.
Fine. But then we move into it leads us. The reason that happens is so Stargirl unanimously trusts Henry. Sure. Why not? So then she moves him. Then we hard cut to the cafeteria, which fucking hell show. Could you give me some time frame? Like, is this the same day? Is this the next day? I don't know. So, but we're having lunch with the kiddos and they're all mad. And then he uses telekinetic powers in the cafeteria and nobody cares. Nobody. Where's the principal? Where are all the teachers? Where's everybody with this fight? And then after that, they still have their conversations and they talk about all this stuff in front of like 80 kids. It's absolutely absurd because we want to move to the next scene. Don't get me wrong. The acting's great. The dialogue, little iffy, but I can live with it.
Okay, here's the thing.
But you telekinesis push somebody, and remember,
no one was watching that. Like you were talking.
Beth
like,
literally stands up and says, "Just ignore us, like you always do."
They only responded because of what happened, and then that's why she said, "Just ignore us, like you normally do." I'm like, those humans are not paying attention to them. Like in the context of a school,
you've never been in high school where or even like, fine, I'll use another movie reference where it's everybody in a cafeteria fight. Like you were expecting that to happen, and nobody gave a shit.
But that's because nothing else
Henry,
happened,
But that's Henry, the most popular dude. And then you have all the freaks. Like, why is Henry hanging out with them? Like,
but they didn't fight though. Nothing happened from that. It was just like, what the fuck was that? And then she was like, "Oh, go back to your stuff." And
they got up in each other's faces, and you watched a dude get chucked across a room.
Yeah, but
no teachers,
we watched it though. They didn't see anything. They just saw somebody fall and some food on the ground, and they heard a loud noise.
Oh man,
they didn't see anything.
You give a lot of passes. It's actually really astounding.
No. It's not a pass.
It's really astounding.
It's not.
Again, the show is fine. The show is fine.
It's not a pass.
Man,
I'm only going off
bullshit in this show.
It's not a pass. I'm only going off of what they showed us.
And sometimes you should be able to go like, why did you do that though?
And what? But then I would be repeating myself. I just said earlier that there are things that are silly and don't make sense, but I don't care to see that as a problem in the context of the show because you can view that, as Anzo said, you can view that as a form of nitpicking. But I've also
no, of course you guys are going to always because it doesn't matter.
No. I already expressed to you countless times, and this is not the only stream that I understand you, and I could see where it makes sense. A pass would be that I'm going, no, it's great. No, it's great. Minus all the other stuff that I said. I put that there for emphasis, so that way you can fully understand why I am telling you my thoughts and opinions on things. So it's called a safety net, by the way.
Well, and then I would tell you that the safety net works for the cafeteria scene, but it doesn't work for Dr. Ito. I'm not going to let that one go. I cannot let that fly.
You don't have to because
I cannot let that fly.
And you don't have to because that's your opinion.
It's crazy but my thing,
that happens. But
So was
again,
it
as I
crazy
stated,
that Ray beat Kylo in Force Awakens?
Yes, because she's a Mary Sue,
Okay.
yes, like it doesn't matter which
a Sith
situation
leader who's been trained by not only Luke Skywalker, but now that we know,
and
has been trained by essentially Palpatine.
and
And
again,
don't tell me the gut shot, because Sith people, they actually get more powerful with pain and hatred. So
I
yes,
understand.
again.
I understand that, but again, one acknowledging something.
So yes, that's
it's
absurd.
a safety net. I know that she should have, like, she did get wrecked, but I mean, it should have
Oh, and
been
then
like,
it's also hilarious that the movie that she actually has training, she loses to Kylo and then only wins because of a cheap shot.
she didn't really have no training. I don't count an hour of somebody talking to you as training. No,
I don't know.
absolutely.
The movie wanted you to believe
It wanted me to believe a whole lot, but like you said, I give passes. No, it's not me giving passes. Once I acknowledge that something's there, at which point I can only tell you, did I like it or did I not? But I still know what it is. I don't care what I don't care what the movie told me. I can still see, and then at that point I go yay or nay. It's very simple. My brain works really fast in that way.
I mean, I can do both. I go, that was a really good
So
scene.
can
I can go, that was a really good scene, but why'd you do that? That was stupid. Perfect example. I'm gonna cut to it because I think this encapsulates the perfect example of what this show has been doing since almost day one, where they fucking nail it, like emotionally and character development and even some dialogue. They nail it. But then they fuck it all up. Henry's death was really good. Like, it was super good. Like, him having the realization with his dad, it's like, even if I knew it was coming, or even if I didn't, it doesn't matter. Like, the acting was solid. The situation
I didn't see that
really
coming.
Good.
I did not know. I did not see Henry die. Number one, Henry has a lot of lore in the comic books. Number one. Number two, in the context of that show, the way that they were building it up, I'm like, yeah, they're building him up to be a hero. It is following the path of the comics. But Jeff Johns, who's the guy that created Stargirl, he knew.
Oh.
Like, I could tell, like, he knew, like, he's like, there's going to be somebody like Terrence that's going to watch this and think they got all the answers, and then I'm going to throw this curveball in there. Like, yeah, you didn't see that shit coming, did you?
Well, here's
No,
my
I
thing.
didn't.
I didn't see Henry actually die. Didn't see a body. So I'm not going to buy it yet. I'm just going to talk about the scene. I don't even buy that Henry's dead.
Okay, look. That may be the case. Let's just say, I don't know, at the end of the season, Henry comes back, he's all scarred, like, yeah, remember me, father? Fuck you too, and then he kills him or something.
I held the rocks above me, so you thought I was dead.
But at the same time, no, until I see otherwise, I'm like, all that heavy ass rocks and shit
but
just
I'm
fell
saying
on
the
top of
scene
Henry.
was good. So I haven't seen a dead body, so I'm just gonna bail, because with movie stuff and TV stuff, I go, unless I see a body, I don't buy it. But
see,
I'm going with
that's where I don't do that though, because usually if it looks like someone died, what I like to say is, okay, the scene or this movie, whatever, has showed us that it appears that this character is dead, and then we get more, you know, say
I know why
episodes of
the
the show or movie. But at the same time, if they don't show that Henry is alive, I'm like, that motherfucker is dead until otherwise.
It's fine. I totally don't care, because it's the stuff around it that I really have the problem with, is that they have this really good dialogue. They have this fight. They really show off that, you know, they need Henry's help to do the stuff with the bars and all the bullshit. Staff can't do anything, so it's a one-on-one with Henry and the dad. Sure, let's go. They do the whole thing. The fact that he doesn't collapse the whole thing is really fucking dumb for me. Or we don't get like an actual kill shot. It's just them.
Why does he need to collapse the whole thing? If
wait, because here we go. Let me fucking finish. Because they make a whole deal that Henry is like creating a force field for them, and like the staff is like holding them back, and it's all of them kind of working together to hold back Brainwave. The whole idea is I thought that Henry was going to hold them off so they could all leave. Once Henry's dead, why is Brainwave not fucking all of them up from behind the bars? He's still standing there.
Is that where you're going? Hold on. Is that where you're going, John? Come on, man. Like,
What do you
First
mean?
of
Come
all,
on, they're all standing
yes,
there.
come on.
He's
I will
standing
tell
in the
you why I
hallway, and
said
he could
come on.
kill them.
Because there are many moments where every single one of these villains that we have ever seen, they've been in a position to kill the heroes. They don't, because that's not
Knock
how
them
they
out.
write them to be.
You have
No,
them. You have them in your
no.
lair. Knock them out.
I
They're
get
right
it.
there.
I get it.
Hang
That's
them under the
smart.
tree and knock them out.
That would be smart, but that's
So
not how.
So you're literally going to tell me that the smartest character does the dumbest thing after killing his son? Oh my god, dude!
How many smart characters
Wow.
have done dumb shit in the comics? Reed Richards. That's a dumb motherfucker right
Yeah, I
there.
don't-
He's
I don't
smart,
give
but
a
he's
shit.
dumb.
Talking about
Doctor Doom.
episode.
But still, these are comic book characters, and they have the same kind of tropes. It's not surprising. What do you mean? Why didn't he just collapse the whole thing on all of them? Like, come on, man.
Because I would have given you the fact that he didn't take out the other heroes afterwards. If he'd have collapsed the whole thing, that way it's like, oh, maybe he couldn't see him or couldn't do anything. You can literally see it, and they all stand there, and then they play this really stupid fucking pop song that like really kills the tone. But it was like Brainwave's still in
No,
the
man.
play, and they're
No.
all standing behind the doors, and we just cut to credits.
Nah, man. Look. I get your
perfect
point.
ending.
I get your point, and that is a preference, John.
Oh.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't agree with that shit at all, but I understand.
Oh, don't worry. I didn't think anybody would.
Oh, come on, John. Like, don't condescend. There are some people that will agree with you.
Condescending, because that makes no fucking sense. Brainwave fucking killed his. We find out not only is he merciless enough to kill his own wife, he killed his son. And all the people that turned his son against him are right there. And he can grab them now. And he just chooses not to.
But Brainwave has a smidget of compassion. Number one, he tried to reason with his wife.
He killed his son. Oh, come on.
I understand that, but listen, look.
And Alice, who murdered 10 people, is the best character ever.
No. Listen, I know I know he's an evil asshole, but look, to me, there's a difference between show up and you kill him, and then if you try to reason with him, like he tried to reason with his wife, and then she didn't do what he wanted, dead. He tried to reason with his son. Like when Henry was like, Dad, I love you. He's like, I love you too, son. Like, hey, you just let me train you. And Henry was like, nah, I'm trying to be a hero, Dad. You an evil piece of shit. And his dad was like, all right, Henry, I tried. Fuck your shit. And he just threw him up against the bar. I'm like, that's messed up and evil on a level that you will probably never encounter in your life, at least not be aware of it anyway. I get that. But at the same time, I still pay attention to the tiny details of the fact that he tried to talk to his son. He didn't just show up and murder him
because he was selfish. He wanted his son to be a bad man, and his son was a good selfish man.
That's where the evil asshole.
That's where he kills all of them. That's just silly. I'm sorry. That is the most egregious thing that happens in this episode, and I'm sorry. I cannot be wavered on that. It's the most egregious thing.
That is fine. And that is fine.
And Stargirl versus Ito and her surviving as long. Those are my two big hiccups. Everything else I can fucking live with.
John, I respect that viewpoint. I don't agree with it. Goddamn thing.
Oh, don't worry. I get that a lot. It's fine.
But I got you though. Because sometimes in life you don't need to collapse the whole thing. Like that's not part of the story.
I didn't say you needed to collapse it. I was saying, but murder all the heroes that are right there.
Nah.
And then the series is done, and no more Stargirl.
And again,
come on, bro.
Again, but you make those hyperbolic things like it's because the show did it. It was the best way it could be done. It was like don't put your people in. Like Henry could have gone, I'm holding it. Fucking leave. And then like he could have done like a last thing in the brain to Yolanda go, I'm about to die. I love you and I'm sorry.
Anzo, did I not say at some point in certain
they could have left
in this conversation, did I not say that there are 1,000 ways that I could have done that scene? Like I specifically said that, which means that of course I'm not like this is the perfect way.
This was all they had.
No, I didn't say that. If someone tells you there are 1,000 ways to do it, then that means it's not perfect.
Oh, it works.
I'm only defending it. No, I'm only defending it because the way that they wrote it, it worked for me. It didn't work for you, obviously, but it worked for me, and I like it. That doesn't mean that it's perfect, John.
But it's lazy. No, but the difference is that it works for the story and it progresses it, but it's fucking lazy and lame.
No, it's not lazy. It's just you just don't like it, John. I get that. That's fine.
You know, It's like anything John don't like, it's lazy.
Exactly. It's lazy. They didn't put the right music. His shoe is the wrong color. It just be like some crazy ass shit like
That's just so and I could twist that back on you guys saying you'll fucking eat anything. It's what it seems like to me. So
okay, first of all, that's bullshit. Like there's been plenty of times in comic book stuff where I said that it's trash. If I will eat anything, then that means by default that everything should be great, which is not how it works.
Oh no.
There are movies and shows that I don't like. There are plenty of comic book movies that I think they absolutely pissed on. So that means
but we're talking.
That means that what you said is not true about me eating anything. That's not how that works. You can't overextend past this show. I am talking about this episode
on multiple occasions with this episode alone.
I am only talking about this episode. It don't apply to everything else automatically.
About just this episode, you were talking about extra stuff and anecdotes.
No. But the only reason that I went into extra stuff is to provide even more context as to why certain things happen. There's a formula to this stuff. You can still surprise people, but there's a formula to follow because there is a fan base. There are things that are expected and that people want to see in relation to these heroes and villains. That's how it works.
It just seems like it just depends on what you like. If the formula is a formula or if it's a bad decision. My whole thing is I'm going with the show I've watched for 10 episodes. I don't have comic books. I don't have all the other stuff. I don't really care all that much when it comes to the extra stuff. I want to watch this show.
That is inherently obvious. But let me ask you this. Did you enjoy the fucking episode, John?
And I said yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. That is all that matters.
No, it doesn't.
Really and truly.
But moving forward, what is the fucking point of making something if you don't get criticism and feedback? You can't make it better? Or do we just have to assume that everything we make is fucking we nailed it?
John, no, they're gonna make it better. They're gonna do things. It just barely started, John. This is not season 5. It just barely started. Give it time. Give it time, John.
I don't know. It's everybody acts like, okay, so if they nailed it, they had all the time. If they didn't nail it, well, time constraints and things, and they probably didn't have the budget or what. This show didn't have a fucking you had time. You could have written it for 5 years and then put it out 2 years from now.
They could have did a lot of stuff, John, but they decided to do that. Sometimes in life, you just go with.
And I'm criticizing it, and what I'm saying is that when it comes to basic fundamentals, you're doing a lot of cliche things that we're used to cliche, especially in the comic books. But what I'm saying is when you're doing a lot of them in one fucking episode, it gets a little abhorrent. Like you're sitting there going, fuck, man, could you just waited an extra episode?
Okay, I'm going to give you guys another 20 minutes on this topic so you guys get everything out now.
No, I already got my points out.
Look, I know that there are plenty of.
I had my examples, so
I know that there are plenty of humans that don't care about the comic books. That's actually most of the viewers, right? The actual comic book readers are very small in number. They try to get individuals like you, John, who doesn't read comic books, right? You only know what they show you. That's what you have to go off of. But in the case of Jeff Johns,
I read comics, first of all. Second, what I do, there's a difference. And
you read comics, but you said you don't care about them.
Because nobody believes me. When it comes to the film, I want to see if it can encompass itself. If they do Easter egg type stuff, that's a reason to praise.
It's not going to encompass itself when it has more than a decade of lore to pull from. That's not how that works. That only happens with original stuff.
You have 13 episodes, potentially multiple seasons. You have this huge archive to pick from. So you have 50 people. Do you need to tell the Infinity Stone saga in the very first season? You're like, well, I don't know if we're going to get multiple seasons. I go, I don't know then. Maybe make me like the protagonist and her sidekicks and a couple of other people. Like I would make.
Are we talking about Kevin Feige doing an Infinity Gauntlet storyline, but it's on TV? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about like how we had the first season of Batwoman, and then all of a sudden she's in.
That shit is trash. That don't count.
But why is it trash though? No, you just
Because
didn't read the comics.
okay. No.
You just didn't read the comics. No, that's crazy.
No. In terms of
costume is
Batwoman,
awesome.
look,
Her
in
costume
terms
is
of
awesome, and Alice is in it. Are you kidding me? Oh, and Jacob Kane, he's awesome. Oh man,
John, I know you're not defending Batwoman.
Batman killed the Joker, dude. He's a badass.
John, I know you're not defending Batwoman. That show is trash. The acting is terrible. The characters are bad. The character developments are bad. And that's not even including the accuracy. That's not Gotham City. They didn't do any of the villains right. They didn't do anything they were supposed to do aside from her costume. That's it.
The costume is silly.
Yes, but that's how she's supposed to look. But aside from that, though, they didn't do anything right, and it was downright offensive to people that read it. But even for the individuals that didn't read it, they found the show to be boring. They found the writing to be sloppy. They found the characters to not go anywhere. They did not like all the agenda that's in the show. The show has a lot of negative marks throughout, right? So it wouldn't be fair to go, okay, we're discussing something that's good, like Stargirl, then Batwoman is trash, right?
You guys like that, so never mind.
Yeah, Batwoman is trash. That shit is fucking trash as shit. Oh my god, that show is so bad.
I don't know. I think it's the best show on the CW. I think you're crazy.
You're joking.
Wait. You're being serious?
Yeah, her costume looks so comic book accurate. I think it's awesome.
I just said that. I just said that's the only thing that's right.
The entire show's awesome. They have the crows, and they talk about GC.
The crow security who don't do shit. They're not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be the GCPD.
But that's how they wrote it. It's fine.
It's terrible. They don't do anything. In the first episode, they got beat up in less than 2 minutes.
He's trying to bait you into shit.
I know what he's doing. I've had these conversations before, and it's entertaining.
Yeah, he's trying to bait you.
You know, for the humans that are listening that are unaware of this kind of conversation, I want them to hear, because they might be like, "Oh, I was thinking about watching that Batwoman show." It's like, nah.
No, but see,
don't waste your fucking time.
You can't tell me with my nitpickery and all my bullshit that these things aren't things that could have been fixed in the writer's room, or something that when you were shooting it, you're like, fucking hell, like how did we miss this or something? We have time.
John, did you miss the part, man, when I said that I understand your point? Did you miss that? Look, at no point was I like, John, you're wrong. And
no, because I'm not going to have this nitpickery bullshit thrown in my face.
No, John, my friend, it's not thrown in your face. Look, John,
I'll say it all the time, nitpicking.
John, I respect your viewpoint, which is why you are on this show. We're having a good conversation, but I'm just letting you know, while I understand, I have a different perspective.
Oh, I absolutely agree. But the idea is to devalue the idea of, even if, fine, call it a plot hole, call it a nitpick, call it a John's jerking himself off thing. I don't give a fuck.
Where the hell are you going with all this? I didn't say nothing like that.
Internet. This is me like talking out to ether. Idea we have to be careful. We have to be careful with the idea of devaluing the thing that we all want to do. We want to talk about stuff. And if somehow only dropping a lot of the negatives is somehow inherently this evil thing to do, I could throw it right back at somebody. The idea of only inherently thinking about only the good things does not make you righteous. It makes you naive, and it makes you a little off base. And that's why I think the conversations that we have are constructive. Even though, like, when people...
John, neither myself, and I don't normally speak for humans, but myself nor Anzo feel that way in regards to what you're saying.
And I think what we're doing is constructive, even though outside of it may not feel that way, because it's like, oh, they're fighting. Well, yeah. How do you think minds get changed and shit?
Okay, but the way you said that, John, though, right? Like, outside of that, it may not feel that way. That's why I make it a point to provide as much clarification as possible, because I don't want the human to be confused. If the human is confused, I'm like, right? I'm just like, hey, let me know what you want me to express or whatever, and I'll try to tackle it so that way there's at least some understanding. It may not be complete, especially if there are different perspectives, but at the same time, I still want my point to be articulate enough to where you can understand. That's the whole point.
And I appreciate a lot of the stuff, especially with the comic books and the anecdotes and stuff. Those are really helpful for the after the fact, or if something worked with the show or something like that. But at the end of the day, when you're watching the show, we all have the basis of the show, the three of us here. And I'm assuming anybody in the chat listening to us has watched the episode. So we are all running off of the show. We know what happened in frame on the show. And then we discuss those. And then once we come to a conclusion on what happened on the actual show, then the extra third-party stuff or the comic book stuff or anecdotes, those things become icing on the cake. The show is the cake. Everything else that we know outside of it becomes the icing or the fun part.
And that cake was good as fuck, John, because I'm telling
And
you,
I think this episode was fine. I feel like they nailed it with certain moments and then they dropped the ball. And I feel like I've nailed my biggest hiccups with the show for the most part.
And I respect that. Like, and I believe that I nailed all of my points with great details. But at the same time, I don't think they dropped the ball. I think they did it exactly the way that they were supposed to in the context of what they were presenting to us. That's how I feel.
And sure. And you know, I'll just say, okay. And but with the other stuff, it's mostly just calm down with the nitpickery thing and the whole devaluing of criticizing stuff, because that's what we do. If like, you know, if I was on square one and I'm like, dude, Jordan hasn't played for 10 years, why are we having this discussion? Or it's about space wizards with laser swords. Once you demean something down to that kind of demeanor, then what the fuck are we even doing?
I don't think
I mean?
Again, I don't like to speak for humans, but in this case, I feel, as they would say, comfortable, because I believe that the evidence has added up that no one on this panel are off, which means Danny at this moment, that we devalue what you say. You're part of the team. We consider you a friend, which means that all your shit is important. What the hell? Like, I ask you stuff like, explain, or how'd you feel about that, John? Like, come on, man. Like,
no, I love you guys, and that's why we do this, and that's why I feel like I can get heated like that. Also, fucking Danny, I'm assuming this is from a few minutes ago. John is fucking with y'all. Don't fall for it.
And Anzo told me the same thing. But look,
didn't fall for it. Come on.
Look. It makes for good conversation, because I don't know who's here for the first time. And they might be curious as to what I think, and that was an opportunity to express it. And that to me, that's great. It just, you know, elevates the conversation because it's within a certain context, and that context being superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And again, because I don't read, because like I read comic books, but like I'm mostly a Marvel dude. I really like Batman. I've gotten into some Moon Knight stuff. I'm really just a guy who like, X-Men's my shit. But I like movies. I like cartoons.
I'm glad you told me that, John, because I thought you didn't read them when you said, I don't care about them. You know how many humans have said that to me that don't read them?
I don't care about them when it comes to contextualizing a media that we are all discussing. Like when it comes to...
I wish you would have said that the first time, because then
because I think I kind of wanted to trigger some people, if that makes sense. It's kind of an idea of like...
so you're trying to explode some bombs. I see you, John.
Because I think you need that self-inflection from time to time where it's like, okay, so when the rules don't apply to me, where don't I do that? And I think we see that a lot with Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is the greatest IP that gets the most hate, yet the most love at the same time. # not my Spider-Man, even though we have a ton of Spider-Man movies. We have probably the most
greatest IP in what sense?
I think the most accessible in the mainstream, like the idea that everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Not over Batman and Superman. Spider-Man is always.
I would probably agree with that. I would like to see numbers, because I think that's
the fact. You can look it up. Like when it comes to the comic books, it's Batman, Superman, and then Spider-Man.
Just roll with me on this train here. Is the idea that we'll have all of these Spider-Men. We had Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. We got Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, and Andrew Garfield. We got the old 60s Spider-Man. We got all these Spider-Man. We got a Bollywood Spider-Man running around, and everybody can't figure out who Peter Parker is supposed to be. And then even when we talk about Miles Morales, they're annoyed that it's not Peter Parker or the other way around.
Right.
When it comes to the actual adaptation, it's a very, very difficult line to play. There are people that fucking hate The Lord of the Rings because Tom Bombadil is fucking not in it, which, you know, sure.
Okay, that's a fair point with Spider-Man. Like, if you're gonna talk about like his recent successes with his movies, then sure, like he would be up there with Batman and Superman. But if we're gonna talk about the entire history of these characters, it is completely different.
And see, and this is where I'm going. We have thousands and thousands of comic books that have multiple runs with different artists, with different writers, with all these things. So now when we're all watching the same film together, right? Let's all just say Homecoming for the sake of it. We all watched Homecoming. We are all going to like it or dislike it for different reasons. When you're coming into the conversation with me, it has nothing to do with a comic book, even though I watched the old 90s cartoons and I read a lot of the old comic books and I like a lot of the comic book runs. But people will fucking hate this film because it's not their version in the comic book, which
and
is
those
totally
humans,
understandable, which is
I don't do that though.
But
No.
But what I'm saying is some people do, and I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed because I think that nitpick conversation where it's like you're thinking too much kind of stuff really only happens when either A, you don't give a shit about it, or you're trying to defend something. And I'm not again, I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to the ether.
John, nobody on the panel feels like that, but
yeah. So my whole thing is that I think when it comes to me, and I know it's hard for people to understand that I do this, is that I really just need to encompass the film or the show I saw in the episodes I had, because I don't want to work off the external stuff until I have a deliberate yes or no, I like this. Like, there's a scene in Spider-Verse where there's an Easter egg with Donald Glover in his shirt. I've seen the fucking movie like 4 times. I didn't know it was there. And because I know it's there now, it makes the movie funnier for me because the next time I watch it, I'm going to be looking for it.
But have you seen it?
Seen what?
The scene.
The scene with Donald Glover, or the picture of him in the spider suit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've seen the picture of it, but how do you know it wasn't doctored?
I don't.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
But I saw it on the TV, in the show, and I also don't even know that it's true. But when I watch the movie again, I'll be looking for it, and if it's not there, I go, "Oh, I got fucking lied to."
When it comes to when it comes to comic book stuff, right? Like, depending on who I'm talking to, if they tell me, okay, if they're like, okay, I'm a Marvel guy, I'm a DC guy, or both, or if they're neither or, but they're just specific characters, like, oh, I like Batman and Wolverine, but the brands themselves don't really care for. But if one of them is part of the story, then that's great. That's what I care about. Now, when they tell me that, I can go, okay, now I understand a better way to approach the conversation. Because luckily for that person, whether he or she is Marvel or DC or specific characters, more than likely I can still have the conversation because I'm going to know just as much as them, and more than likely more, depending on who I'm talking to. So the conversation could be good. And then if I'm talking to a human that, maybe they read a couple of comics, but they're not keen on them like that, they're just, for all intents and purposes, the average person. So I'm like, okay, so I have to remember that this person is only going to come at it from just having seen the movie or the episode or whatever. So I can go, okay, so they're going to say, this is how I feel or whatever. And then at that point, if they have questions like, okay, well, how did you feel about the way they did him or her and whatever, then that's where we can sort of spice it up. Because now I'm coming at it not only from just critiquing the show or movie, but I have all this pre-existing knowledge of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that can spice it up.
Because, like, a good example for me is, like, I think Hugh Jackman's a terrible casting for Wolverine. But Hugh Jackman did a fucking great job. No, but Hugh Jackman did a fucking great job. When you see him in the cartoons and the things, like, you could have probably found somebody more aesthetically pleasing. Especially go back and rewatch the first one. Hugh Jackman looked nothing like he did in The Wolverine. Or
you know what's interesting about that?
But I loved it. I thought he was.
But see, not Wolverine, but Hugh Jackman. He was on a long list of actors to play him. He was pretty much the last choice. So he came in, and you're talking about he had no time to train or nothing. They were just like, "Well, Hugh, 8 other people dropped out. You want to play Wolverine?"
Yeah, he looks like a blubbery dude, but then he did it though. He
killed it though. Like, and it's surprising because it's like, and it also makes it fascinating and amazing and so many other things in the positive spectrum because it's like, who would have thought the dude that they just were like, this dude is last, that he fucking killed it, and that whenever you think about the character, whether you like Hugh or not, he's gonna pop up in your mind. He played the character for almost 20 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree. But it's one of those things where I go, see, if we went with the comic book purist shit, like I wanted to, where it's like, I would have picked a Jason Statham, assuming that, yeah, maybe he'll figure out the fucking accent. He's short, athletic, and flip around, kind of a hairy dude. Give him a wig or put him in the suit, it'll be fine. But Hugh Jackman did a fucking brilliant job, and I wouldn't
hate. Look, if they would have gone with Jason Statham because I like him, I wouldn't have hated that. But I would have been against that sort of cast.
But you know what I mean. Like it's like we get the fact of hindsight and shit like that,
right? And to provide perspective for somebody listening, I did that for the same reason of when it was leaked when Scott Adkins was supposedly auditioning for Batman. I'm like, look here, when it comes to just fighting, like if you put him as the character, you're not going to get really anyone better in terms of fighting who has played Batman. He just trumps the shit out of all of them times a million.
However, say Trump, you'll trigger people.
Man, fuck those humans. They know what I'm saying. Pay attention to the context, humans. We ain't got time for that shit. So fuck all that. But like, but in terms of Scott's acting, he's not the strongest actor. He's decent. So that would be my little bit of concern. But like, I don't know. Like he might have been able to kind of brush up on it, and he might have been able to surprise me because I'm like, you got the physical stuff down, but my thing was like, how would he do as Bruce Wayne, right? So that was just more of a curiosity and me being honest, despite the fact that I'm a huge fan of Scott Adkins. Like but I have to be honest, and enough humans that have interacted with me, right, Anzo? You know I'm gonna be honest because you be like, yeah, Scott Adkins. I'm like, yeah, but and then you know I have that. So
yeah.
All right, that's good. So now, did you guys see the black Superman suit?
Oh, Idris Elba? I'm Black Superman.
No. Man. Like,
sorry, that was Hobbs and Shaw.
I did, Anzo.
Yes, I did.
I saw it in the morning, Anzo, and
he didn't have the bullshit lip. That was awesome. It was great.
But he didn't have that lip through the whole movie, though.
He didn't, and it wasn't his fault too, because for Mission Impossible he had to keep that mustache. Yeah. So,
which was a way better film, by the way. If you have not seen Fallout, go fucking watch it.
Of course, it's a way better film than Justice League. I like Justice League, but no, Mission Impossible is a better written movie.
I didn't even know I liked Mission Impossible until I watched that fucking movie.
Right, and see, and for the humans listening, you see how I said that? Me being like probably like one of the biggest DC fans you ever talked to. You heard that I said that. There you go, pin it. So anyway, yeah, I saw it in the morning. And I was just, I was so loud that it woke up the house. And I was like, yes!
Did you change the sheets? Do you change the sheets?
No. You don't understand. Like, the house was gone. There was nothing to change. Like, I was just literally standing.
You fucking Super Saiyan there. Like,
right. Like, I don't know. I think for a moment, like, I either blacked out or turned into the Human Torch or something, because even though that was a couple of seconds, Anzo, boy, I was like, that is legit.
Hey, it's canon that the Human Torch was black once, so totally doable, man. Totally doable.
Please don't remind me of that. I love Michael B. Jordan, but now if he would have been in a better movie, then I'd have a different kind of thing. But you know,
he could have been. He was fine.
He was fine.
He was fine in the film. Like he was okay, but that's for the same reason. Like he's a good actor, but that's the same thing that I would say. Like, you know, I'm saying he on this level, but like when you talk about, say, Russell Crowe or Denzel, if they're in something,
do not put Michael B. Jordan in Denzel.
That's why I just said that before I said it. Like I'm trying to make a point. Like I'm trying to make a point, when there is talent involved, I'm just like, yeah, they're gonna be fine, but that don't mean everything else is gonna be fine. I'm like, nah.
Man,
No, you're absolutely right, because he was fine in the movie, but the movie was trash.
Denzel was fucking awesome in Magnificent Seven. Can we say that? That was a movie that shouldn't have worked, but it was fucking dope.
Oh yeah, you had too much talent in the movie for it not to work. Like I'm like, there's no way that this is just not gonna work. I'm like, oh, but yeah, like I liked it, and Henry, the way he was walking in that suit.
Ooh.
I don't know what it was.
Hanging
but
out
it was
with
like,
come on.
I think Zach told him like, okay, Henry,
Walk with some swag.
Right. I was like, I think he told him like, Henry, there were 10 years of this comic book where he was, had the black suit, the long hair and shit like a mullet. I want you to be in that moment of that decade, and that's how I want you to come in this scene. And then that's what he did. That's 100% what I believe.
Would you be okay if they CGI some long hair on him?
Ooh, yeah, don't CGI. Fucking leave it alone.
You know what's interesting about that? That's a good question, Anzo, because look, when I was watching the scene, Anzo, while in my mind, obviously the long hair, and then at some point he has some facial hair too, but like,
yeah, the beard.
That didn't bother me though, because it looked so good that it like I just didn't care that he didn't have the long hair.
Well, we also don't have the context of the film yet to fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just a cool scene. If they put it in the film and it fucks something up, and you're like, oh no, now I'm looking at it again and see it.
Well, it's not going to
difference between
it's not going to fuck anything up, because the movie we're going to see is totally different than the movie that
it's going to be 100 times better.
I saw his interview too on Grace Randolph's channel, Beyond the Trailer.
It too, yeah.
Yeah,
oh, and God, we're bringing her up. Oh no.
Hey, leave Grace alone. She ain't perfect. But
no, I just remember the last time we brought her up in the context.
No, I know. Grace. Look. I do like Grace. She be on some bullshit sometimes, and then sometimes, when she bring up DC, I'm like, Grace, you talking to terrorists, right? Like I go know when you full of shit, but yeah. So,
but she used to work for Disney.
Yeah, she did, and she did some stuff in Warner Brothers Studios too. So like. She's not. I'm not saying she's 100% fake. She just does this odd shit, like how my boy Steven Seagal would do. Like he just would say random shit and lie about random things for no reason. She has a little bit of that personality trait. So it's kind of like if someone doesn't know her, it's like it's kind of hard to explain. But like you know better than that. That's not all she is. It's like that ain't all Steven Seagal. Anyway, like I saw that interview and I thought it was awesome. And Zach. Like he looked so happy, and I remember when I saw him when his daughter committed suicide and stuff, how sad he looked. Like that shit almost made me cry seeing Zach like that, right? So it was just something about seeing him that happy. Like, oh, I can't wait for you guys to see it, and all you.
I just like an idea, like, oh man, he's back.
Yeah, it warmed my heart. I'm like, I am so happy for you. This is like a moment in cinema history where. You don't really get too many moments like that. This man had all that stuff happen, and then look at where he is now. I'm like, that's cool.
How often do you get a redo? It's like I got screwed over, and the universe said fuck me, and I had to hang up something and watch some other dude tear apart something I worked my ass off for. And and again, I think people know how I feel about the Snyderverse and blah, blah, blah.
Don't do it, John. Don't do it.
No, but it has nothing to do with the idea that I always believe I don't care. If you pick this dude to helm your shit, you liked his visionary style, you liked his storytelling tropes, or you liked what he was doing, fucking let him do it.
Let him finish it. Absolutely.
When that thing happened with his daughter... Don't fucking bring somebody in and fucking start.
They didn't even give him the amount of time because Zach was like, look, he is legally allowed to go bury his daughter and shit like that. That's a thing, right?
Give him fucking 6 or 7 months for grief, and then you come back and finish.
He didn't even need that long. Like this dude was about to come back in like a month or something, right?
Right.
Just like look. The dude
who doesn't want to go back to work and get your mind off?
Right. The dude that's leading your DCEU, he's like, hey, give me like 30 days. I got to plan it. Then we got a barrier. Give me maybe a week or so to cope, and I'll be right back. And they was like, all right, Jack.
Fuck off. Like a month, 3 months.
And then they call in Joss Whedon. Like, really?
It's his fucking project. And look, again, I don't like the Snyderverse. apologize to all your fans out there. I love 300. I think Watchmen is extremely watchable, no pun intended. I really don't like what he did with anything else. Batfleck is fucking dope. But
Yes.
my whole deal is I don't care whether or not I don't like the Vision. I want a coherent vision. Give me the coherent film. If I'm going to talk shit about it, I can't talk shit about Justice League because I don't know who's filmed
technically it's not. Well, I mean, after it comes out, it'll be his own thing. The Snyderverse is not the
and then we can talk about it then. But to make fun of the one that came out, it's like that's nobody's project.
It's not part of the Snyderverse, but it will connect to Batman v Superman and Man of Steel.
Oh, and
right. Those are his movies. That's what he said.
So that's the full circle coming.
Right. How much do you think the Snyder Cut's gonna fuck with Aquaman? Because that was the one that came out after.
It doesn't matter because
it's just gonna be funny to say.
It doesn't matter though because Zack Snyder said this is the Snyderverse. He put a title on it. Warner Brothers confirmed it. That means that Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, his cut is its own thing. Everything else,
I think
he didn't direct.
Wonder Woman too.
No. Patty Jenkins. That's her thing.
No, but I'm saying I think he said he's claiming that one in his.
Well, he was a small part of the creative process and being a producer. But remember, Warner Brothers barely let him get a finger in.
Oh yeah.
After the whole Justice League debacle. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about like whether it's Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad. That's not part of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, no.
Not after his movie comes out. Right now it is, but once that comes out, that's that own little section. And then if they follow through with the Flashpoint thing, then they could just do all kinds of shit, which I can't wait to see.
I think is a smart move. I think you'd be stupid not to do that because it's just like how jumbled of a mess it is right now. To go back and hit a reset button and give yourselves like just a couple of plot points to go play with, I think that's the smartest move. If you really want to do this, like
I don't think Zach is listening, but if he is, like one day I hope to meet him and be like, "Yo, you gave me the best fight scene I have ever seen in a live action comic book movie, Superman versus Zod." I'm like, you actually gave me a full blown, properly done Superman fight. I wanted to see him go through the buildings, him go up in space, humans dying around him. I wanted to see that, and Zach gave it to me. I felt it was pure destruction and mayhem in the way that a Superman fight is supposed to be.
I felt that was a little extravagant. Like I thought the smaller one in the Kansas town kind of made a lot of sense to me. The one in the Metropolis, I understand that it like worked for the next like setup for the films. I thought it was a little gratuitous. If I had to throw the best fight scene from his verse, I gotta go with Batman. It felt like the first time ever.
That was great too. That was the best Batman fight. But I'm talking about my favorite. That's great too. But that is my favorite in terms of a full blown cinematic fight. And also.
Were you okay with Superman killing Zod? Just out of curiosity.
Well, yes, I explained it very thoroughly because I said specifically that number one, like let me go over this real quick because when it comes to Superman not killing, which is complete bullshit because he's killed more than a dozen people.
That's always the difficult thing. Like you got to give the trolley thing. Like I would believe Batman would kill if put in the situation. I just
Batman
think
has killed.
Hang on. Let me go to Superman. Then I'll get to my favorite superhero, Batman. Mm-hmm. So, in the context of Man of Steel, you have a journey of a guy that's trying to figure out what he's supposed to do in life. His father's gone. The individual that was guiding him very strongly is gone. And then you have the fact that he's an alien. It's his journey to becoming Superman. This dude barely learned how to fly in that movie, and he had to take on General Zod and his top two lieutenants, which are almost as good as he is. When this dude barely learned how to fly, you're talking about a guy that was going through all these emotions. He was panicking. How was he supposed to deal with that? Number one, at the time, there was no kryptonite. That shit wasn't there yet. Batman had to make that shit. That's after the fact. There's no kryptonite. There's no prison that can hold him. Any prison you put him in, he's going to come out. Also, this dude has killed millions of people in the time from the terraforming, trying to turn it into the new Krypton, and then also from their fight. This dude has already killed millions. There was only like Perry White and 3 other individuals. So millions are dead. So it's already proven that, okay, Clark has seen that this dude is dangerous. He destroys a city. That's how long it took him to try to get him in a position to where they're not fighting. On top of that, he specifically told him, I'm going to kill all your precious humans. I'm going to kill all your loved ones. And you're going to watch this shit happen because you fucking rejected my offer to join me. You're a fail. You rather side with the humans and your own people. You're a fucking disgrace to the Kryptonian race. So then he saw that he was going to heat Vision a family. Now, humans are like, oh, he could have just picked them straight up and went in the air. Then he would have came right back down and tried it again. So you're literally dealing with.
Though after we've blown up an entire city, we're getting to the point where we're mad about 3 people. I get that sounds really like nihilistic of me, but at this point, the only reason why they did that was to put Superman in this weird way where we looked at him to do that. Which, to be fair, I can't tell you whether or not that was the best decision to make. What I'm arguing is, what happened to the other ones? Did we kill them? How'd we kill them?
Hang on. So
I just
that big one is dead, and in Faora, like Zach said, that she's not dead. Like somebody asked him on his Twitter. Somebody asked him on his Twitter, like, wait a minute, did Faora die? Because it was only like that machine fell on her. And then Zach was like, oh no, maybe she's still out there. I was like, oh shit. So Faora, like, yeah, she in that context, she can survive that, but it's just Zach was either like, yeah, she's still out there from his answer, or he was hinting at like, oh, I guess you just gonna have to wait and see. But anyway, back to the
how the big guy die again?
Let's see, they were fighting. Then that train, I think he fucking threw a train at him and shit, and then they were fighting, and there was a big explosion. So I think the pressure of Superman's punch, first it was a train, and then Superman punched him. So I think he just like punched him to death or some shit like that. Because that was the last time I saw him. I was like. Yeah, Superman decked him pretty hard. So like, at least with Faora,
he was dead.
He didn't say that the big guy was dead, but in terms of Faora, he specifically was playing around with the fact that she might be alive. He didn't say that about the big guy.
Gotcha.
So, so then when he snapped his neck, now I saw Man of Steel in the theater like 5 times, and I own the movie. So each time, I think. Because it was like the first 3 times that I saw it in the same week 3 times, and the other 2 were kind of spread out throughout its theatrical release. But each time you had different reactions from the crowd. You had certain people like, yeah, and then you had like a kind of a gasp, like, oh my God. But see, in that context, snapping Zod's neck made sense because he's not Superman yet. Like, this dude barely learned how to fly. He's not the Superman that we all know and love yet. As Zach stated, it's his journey to becoming Superman, which means he's not there yet. Anything that he does, he has to learn. In fact, by the time you get to Justice League, the theatrical cut, remember, he was much more smiley and jokey, taking pictures with kids. What? It was a journey. This dude had to go through a lot. He had to
fucking journey my butthole. Like, come on, man. Like, what happened to when heroes were actually these good people who then acquired the things?
Superman is not bad in the context of that movie. He was a dude that panicked in a situation that he was new to.
He's had those powers since he was a kid. He's been coping with them for a long time.
No, he barely learned how to fly in the movie. In fact, Zach
fly was fine, but
but he's never fought his own kind before. It's completely different. You are talking about General Zod. Like, when it comes to Superman fighting, it doesn't matter that he doesn't know, but I'm just saying, like, General Zod is the top of the crop. Like, that dude is gonna lay hands on you. Zod has been training since he was a kid too. In fact, Zach specifically put a scene in that movie where Zod, when he took off his helmet and then the sensors were messing up.
Snyder's a pretentious prick. Like,
no. When he mastered,
he is so cynical. That's why these movies are made the way they are.
When Zod mastered his senses, that was another way to show the audience, because I already know about Zod, but just for the average person that maybe doesn't know a lot about Zod, this dude is much more disciplined. And at this moment in time, his willpower was greater than Superman at
The
that
movie
moment.
tells you that. It's not a. It's he's part of their military. That's the whole point. Which again,
Zod is supposed to be better than Superman at that
which
moment
is
in time.
why he was able to fucking use the powers faster than Superman, which is a
Yes.
super contrivance, by the way. Superman had fucking like 14, 20, fucking how many years to get his powers?
Let me tell you
The
this.
whole point of a hero is to have attributes.
No. It
that are
doesn't
already
work that way. No.
and then at some point
The
you get
context
these
of the
things,
cut. No.
and you
No.
have to learn to hone those things or figure out where your line is.
No.
Captain America is a
No.
great example. He didn't have the powers, but he was willing to jump on a grenade. You had Iron
But
Man.
his whole process was learning. The same thing with hold up. These characters had to learn to hold
He
on.
had to
Look,
learn to be a good person.
No.
He was a child.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
You could
experience through
learn to
battle.
use your powers, sure.
Experience through battle.
Good person.
Clark did not look. I don't care how
You don't care
many.
about somebody being
No.
different.
Hang on. I don't care how many soda cans. See, hang on. I don't care how many soda cans Clark was able to vaporize with his heat vision. That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing as fighting Zod. Is that the same thing as fighting Zod, Anzo?
I know.
You're talking about the powers and how he used them. I'm talking about the strength of his character, which is something that Batman.
He needed experience, though.
And killing Zod doesn't do anything for the strength of his character.
That's fine. We're not even getting that far. No, I'm not even talking that far.
And what happened after he snapped his neck?
No, come on.
He
Give
screamed.
me like 2 more seconds.
He screamed. He was upset. He didn't want to kill that dude. He was like, what am I supposed to do?
I'm not that far. I'm talking about Clark being a child. We need to see how he was raised. That was the whole point of Martha and his dad, whatever, Kent Clark, whatever. I already forgot. The whole point is that we have to prove that he is deserving of the powers that are going to eventually show up. We watch him as a child in Man of Steel deal with the headaches, deal with the stuff, and how he's going to rise from it with like the bus. Like he saved the bus, even though his dad told him not to do that, which, wow. Okay. Still blows my mind. But then my whole deal is that we need to know that Clark is an altruistic or a hero or a good person at heart before he flies. I don't give a shit about flying. Smallville did it for fucking.
Okay, first of all, look. No. Look, and when it comes to Superman, it's different because let me finish, John.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna put on that.
No. Look, when it comes to Superman and Batman, they are one of the few comic book characters where most people on this planet, there's a recognizability for those characters, which means that you do not have to go into a lot of explaining like you have to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man, and pretty much every Marvel character ever. That was the hang-up.
Would you? Let
him finish.
But he's using that example.
It's okay.
No. So when it comes to Superman, when you said people need to know that he has a certain heart and all this shit, everyone knows that Superman is a certain way. It's really a starting point. Look, whatever show or movie is surrounding Superman, the audience will go, okay, what is the starting point? Has he been Superman? Did he just start? Who has he fought? Once they get the answers to these questions over the course of the film, it then will determine how they wish to view the situation. If you already know that Superman has a good heart, it doesn't matter what they show you in terms of how many conflicts he goes through. If he snaps someone's neck, you know that Superman is the example that everyone aspires to be. Everyone aspires to be like him, but he has to get like that first, which means that he has to go through all these trials, which is part of his entire 60 some odd year comic book history, by the way. It's everything that he goes through and then how he decides to get better from it, how he wants to be around others and learn and protect others is what makes him the greatest superhero of all time because of that. So his ability to learn from all those things he's been through, it's that's what's going to help him become the Man of Steel.
Now, he should have proved that he was willing to not kill Badman. You see that in like Aquaman. Like Aquaman leaves Bad Dad. He says, "Let the ocean take care of you, mercy or whatever." So you bring up like we need to see it. I would make the argument like a lot of people get pissed off about Civil War or Homecoming because we don't see the Uncle Ben stuff. We only get an insinuation of it. But we would make the argument, we've seen it a ton of times. We know the Spider-Man origin story. Do we necessarily need the actual scene? Which I would also say we could also make the argument that we've seen the Batman origin story a billion times. Some people actually got pissed off about it in the Joker film, which is really funny to me because you would have never known if you didn't care about comics. But Batman v Superman redid it. The pearls and the killing of his child, of his parents, and the child falling in the thing and dealing with the bats. I go, my thing is what Man of Steel had the chance to do was not only, which I don't know why they wasted so much time on Krypton if they wanted to do something else, but I'm fine with it. Action scenes, stuff look cool.
20 minutes out of a 2 hour and 5 minute movie.
Sure, whatever. But you could have done
not
a lot
whatever.
More.
That's how much time it was there. You needed to set up his family and what happened with Zod and Jor-El.
We know where Superman ends up, and I feel like the
pretty much brings me back to my point of you already know, but in the context of the story, Zach wanted.
But I make the argument that the Kents were more important.
They did become more important, but
they are more.
No, I understand that, but you have to understand that if they did not send him away from the planet, that Kent shit wouldn't matter.
And we already knew
his family, but still, that's still the point. And then also, if Superman did not kill Zod, Zod would have continued killing people. Mm-hmm. Period. That's a fact. Because there's nothing else to stop him. There was no kryptonite. What is he gonna do? How's he gonna stop him?
Fucking make up
he doesn't know how to do that.
Make up some bullshit in the ship.
He doesn't know how to do that. And
how
also,
do you know? They could write it too.
Because his father, no. His father had to tell him about everything. And in the context, when you're fighting Zod, he's not gonna just let him. He's not gonna let him just stroll over to the damn thing and open some shit up, which takes time for him to put him in the first place. And also, like,
what if he ever escapes?
He's gonna get out
sooner or later. What do you mean?
First of all,
people.
And also, that shit. Look.
Comic books.
Not only what I said.
Killing characters,
but we're talking about the contents of the movie, bro.
Oh, now we are okay.
Okay, no. We always were. No. Okay, hang on.
Oh my
God. Aside from what I said and what Anzo said. The Phantom Zone wouldn't work because the reason why Zod got out is because Krypton exploded, so that shit wouldn't work anyway. He would have had to repair that shit and restructured it.
Prison on his fucking ship.
He had to repair it. He got out because Krypton exploded. That's a scene. That's not a hearsay. That is a scene in the fucking movie. And then also
about the ship.
It doesn't change the fact.
If he had holding chamber for Zod,
it would have taken time. It always takes time. Because that's the make and break of everything in Superman lore. It takes time.
Like 30 minutes versus Superman. It took him fucking billion years. Zod's a fucking military guy.
Okay, first of all,
30 minutes.
With Superman's Fortress of Solitude, which is nowhere near as big as the Phantom Zone.
And I totally don't care
when it comes to his Fortress of Solitude, he has said many times that it takes time to get it just right. When you're dealing with the complexity of the Phantom Zone, which is a large prison meant to contain either Kryptonians or full-blown entities, it will take time to restructure that. Time that he does not have when Zod is already directly in front of him and ready to punch him in his face.
Speculation.
It's not speculation. It's based off of the movie.
My whole thing is that it seems like doesn't matter what I say. The film is great.
Come on, John. Don't go to that.
You already
don't
did.
do that.
You guys already did.
No. That's what you're saying, John.
I am fine with it.
I am only going off of what we saw.
and I'm not going to have those fights anymore because they are very blatant. They are very obvious. And if you want them, if you want to know the plot points, you pretty much go on YouTube and Twitter. Pretty much if you like Zack Snyder, you're going to like Zack Snyder. It's what I have found out.
No. See, I'm talking about
100.
Man of Steel. Now, granted, Zack Snyder made that, but look, would I have made a Superman movie like that? No, because somebody would have had to have brought that to my attention. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I would have made a different type of Superman movie. But the spin that Zack put on there, he did take stuff from the comics. Superman has dark periods in the comics. In fact, he had over a decade.
Maybe
when he wears the black suit. There's precedence for that in the comic books. It's just, number one, you have what you said earlier, a lot of him, that's not my Superman or whatever. Like, that's how they feel, right? But that doesn't mean that it's inherently wrong. It's just they have a preference for how they wish Superman to be portrayed, which is fine. But there are different sections to his character, and there are so many complexities. He's not all sunshine and rainbows. That's not the Superman character. Anyone that tells you that does not fully understand Superman.
If Batman showed up and he was a go-lucky Flash-like type character, you wouldn't have an issue with that? You're like, just watch the movie. Shut up.
Okay. Batman is not supposed to be like
there that. It is. Okay. And again,
but that's different though. Okay, John, that's not fair. That's different. Batman has been no matter the multiverse. Every time I've seen Batman, this fool is serious as fuck. He's beating the shit out of people. In some cases, he's a full-blown murderer. The Batman who laughs and all this crazy-ass shit. With Superman, is different. You can have one that cares a little bit more about humanity, one that's not really as prone to violence. You can have rage-induced Superman throughout the multiverse. Even the Anti-Monitor was speaking about how there are different types of Superman. And he was surprised.
It's based on which one you decided was the correct iteration to use.
But again, there is precedence for it. That's my point. It exists. It's just a lot of individuals don't like it, or they prefer what they've already got. Like Christopher Reeve to me is the perfect Superman. I love the first two movies. But
what if we use the Batman Who Laughs? Let's use that one. Let's use that one for the Snyder verse.
No. It's
wait. Okay, we can't use that one. Why can't we use that one? It's in the comics. Stop it. We're allowed.
It's about the okay. No. It's about John.
Exactly.
John, that's a tad. John.
Don't be exasperated when now you're literally where.
No, but you're talking
John,
about.
That's silly though. You don't put the Batman Who Laughs in a random story. Exactly. There's a series of stories that go with him.
Exactly.
Come on now.
You're gonna introduce Batman as a killing, brooding, injustice almost type.
Okay, here's the thing.
He has killed.
He has killed. In fact, in Batman's first comic book, he killed two people in there.
Comic books again. You nailed it.
But that's where they're getting it from.
But that's where he's getting it from. That's where he's getting it from.
Same. But why? But if you're gonna make look, this is the thing where I keep saying, sure, I think Henry Cavill was a great casting. I think the suit looks awesome. I think the aesthetics were there. I think Zack Snyder really sucks when it comes to adaptation. My whole thing is I don't like it. I don't like Snyder stuff. And you already know, calm down. Don't worry. I think it's pretty fucking obvious that I don't like him. My whole deal is that I feel like if you're going to introduce Superman, and especially when Batman v Superman is like the next thing, and we all know that it's not Batman versus Superman. It's Clark versus Kent. It's Clark versus Bruce. And that's the thing that we all wanted. And we didn't get that. We didn't have time. We didn't build there. And my whole thing is a lot of people, not you guys, a lot of people had a problem with the depiction of Clark and Superman. If that doesn't work, I don't know if the BVS super storyline works that way. I really don't give a rat's ass because I don't think that this universe really works all that well. And Justice League is going to be way better. The Snyder Cut's going to be 1 billion times better than the Justice League that one came out. But I don't care because I don't think it has longevity. The Snyder fans love it as they loved it and loved everything else.
And that's why it's going to be its own thing. That's why it when it comes out,
it will do fucking fine. But what I'm telling people is if you want to talk about the reach
For the record, I don't like the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman. I prefer the Ultimate cut.
and I think it's longer and creates more plot holes.
That's fine, but I understand that. But I have acknowledged many times that Zack Snyder's approach is not perfect, and I would have gone a different way. However, when I get into these conversations, when individuals are saying that this is wrong, it's not so much wrong as they don't like that interpretation because there's a precedence for it.
Because it's not, it wasn't, not only is it not the character in the comics that we talk about where they were originated, but they're also not the mainstream version. Like when you think of the Boy Scout, truth, justice, in the American way. Probably can't even say that anymore. But that's what we think about Superman.
Okay, no. We can still say that, but it's different with Superman and Batman because look, Zach. The reason why Zach did his approach again, it's not perfect. I would have done things different. Again, it's not perfect. I would have done things differently. However, this man understands that these characters have been done a lot of times, and there's a lot of pressure when you do Batman and Superman, even more than an MCU movie. Because at this point, when you do an MCU movie, you already have them on board. I mean, you don't want to do nothing bad, but a lot of the pressure is off now. Now it's just like, just do another one, make sure it's good, and you'll be fine. But when it comes to Batman and Superman, people usually have their favorite actor, or at least a favorite movie that they like, and that sort of thing. It's really hard to win people over because they will say, nah, that's not my Batman, that's not my Superman. I like this actor better. I like this story, or I like this animated movie better, or how they did them in this animated show. So Zach was trying to figure out, what can I do to make them feel a little bit different and pulling from specific things that are not often used in relation to these characters in the live action medium. That's all he was trying to do.
And it's fine. Like I said, I wrote my hands off of this one. I think he does really good visuals. I don't think he does character development very well. He didn't know what to do with Lois in those things. That's why he needed the extended cut. It doesn't add anything. Really, all it does is just shows you dead bodies and her B plot, which really doesn't.
You're talking about Batman v Superman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I will say this. Look, with the ultimate cut, I have expressed before, it doesn't make it perfect. I still would have preferred a better Batman v Superman movie in that there would have been a long buildup, because that's how it is. Now, that particular story in the comic books is outside of the main continuity. It's a separate thing. But if you wish to incorporate it, especially when you have an older Batman or Superman, you want to build up to that. So at least in the context, it feels more earned, right? But it was like, okay, we want to put
in there was the biggest mistake you could ever made. Like,
yeah, there was some sloppiness to it, but again, I do prefer the ultimate cut. It's not perfect, but considering the theatrical and the ultimate, I do prefer the ultimate cut. But it doesn't change the make of what he was trying to do and how I feel that it was a bit misguided. But I still appreciate the vision that he had and what he was trying to do, and then what he was trying to do with the 3 Justice League movies that he was going to make. The stuff that he said sounded really amazing, and I'm glad that he's getting a chance to do it. And
we're getting Darkseid, we're getting some cool shit. Like I totally get it. I totally get it. As a DC fan, he's giving you a lot of stuff. At the same time, I feel like he's doing this weird twisted thing. But I'm worried that people prefer the idea that Snyder's making it versus in the fact, do they really care about the content? And that's me being on the outside, because I find it's kind of like Michael Bay. Like, I love a lot of his first films. I think Bad Boys 1 and 2. One's a really good film. The second one's kind of a cartoon. I think Armageddon is one of the best disaster films ever made. I like a few Michael Bay films. I actually don't even completely hate the first Transformers films. But then after that, you see this weird disconnect where it's like, oh man, they just really don't give a fuck about what they're
I think it's a mixture of a lot of that though.
I feel like I see that with Zack Snyder stuff lately.
But it's a mixture though, because I've talked to plenty of DC fans where I'm like, look, I like the fact that they're not like Marvel. I get to pick and choose my shit. I can go to this multiverse or this universe. I can watch this show and not have to worry about nothing, or I can watch this animated movie. DC has a fuck ton of content. So somewhere in there, whatever you want to call it, there usually is something that a person is going to like, be it a show, be it a movie, whatever. And that's good.
You can't make
I like that. So
Marvel though, like, I mean, we have X-Men from back in the 90s. We got, you know, we got all the
the first you got the Fox X-Men films, but when it comes to just this overall variety, DC has way more of that. Now you're talking about, what do you mean how so? Have you not seen? Okay.
We have Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We have like 5 different iterations of Spider-Man.
Okay. No. Look, I am talking about like when you just look at individual sections, there are so many interpretations of characters, and you get multiple interpretations. You got these different actors and actresses that have played these characters. You get to choose. With Marvel, it is what it is. Like with Robert Downey Jr., if somebody like, hey man, I don't like it, right? It's like, well, you got to deal with that because that's what you have now. You're not going to be like, well, I don't like him, but in 2 years we'll get another actor. It's like, no, you got to roll with the flow. I have a friend. He doesn't like the MCU. He likes X-Men. So when it's X-Men, he is on board. So when the Fox was doing their thing with the movies and the TV show Legion and The Gifted, he loved that. So
you're just talking live action then? We're not talking about cartoons.
No, I'm talking about with everything. You know, DC has way more, and they did it first.
X-Men games and Spider-Man cartoons and X-Men cartoons. And
DC set up all that first. Stan Lee and them have talked about it many times.
It means you talked about a plethora of content.
Yeah, there's a lot, and
that's my problem here.
DC has done a lot.
I don't necessarily
and nowadays a lot of humans skip over that because Marvel is the thing. I love Marvel to death, but there is so much that DC does, and it's like what happens is you get what you call consistency. What's good and bad is opinionated. But Marvel tends to have more of the, back to back with the MCU films.
Okay.
Even though they're not all perfect, but they're all embraced in a certain way. They're financially successful and all these things.
This is where I feel it's getting a little disingenuous. It's the idea that you have, sure, DCU is a little discombobulated. Sure. MCU is this thing. We still do have the problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. People do like that, though. I was a fan. I didn't think the first season was particularly good. Halfway through, they have this Hydra turn. I think the show gets fucking incredible.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is great, but a lot of humans don't watch that.
And that's fine. And that's totally fine. But I would also make the argument, I'm one of those guys where I think the DC animated universe is way stronger than the live action. We have the old 89. Yeah. We got... we got Batman Returns. I actually enjoy Batman and Robin, just even though it's a silly
most of the time, yes, but I highlight Smallville and the Arrowverse. Like that shit, like especially Smallville. I like
the Arrowverse for the most part. Smallville's kind of hit and miss.
No, but Smallville was at a time when this comic book stuff wasn't even popular. You had that, and then you had Heroes, which is not like comic book.
Don't forget about the cartoons, man. Like
DC.
Like Marvel did a lot of cartoons, man.
Yeah, and a lot of them were not good. But the ones that stand out, or there's only a couple. Like if you look at most people's lists for, I was just about to get to that. If you look at most humans' lists for the most popular Marvel cartoons, you will see more often than anything else 2 specific ones: the '90s Spider-Man and the '90s X-Men.
People really like the Disney Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man or Spider-Man Unlimited. I can't remember that.
In comparison to the 2 that I mentioned, absolutely not.
Oh,
not
calm down. We didn't talk about fucking comparisons. We talked about people with variety. You said variety, and also people liked X-Men Evolution. People liked fucking Wolverine and the X-Men. People liked we had the
DC
Wolverine
has a lot of animated stuff. Like way more than Marvel. It's not even comparable. When it comes to animation, DC crushes it. They are many miles away from Marvel. I didn't
say they didn't crush it. I said that you are acting like Marvel didn't have stuff in the camp.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that DC has more. DC has more. DC has more. That's my point. And because they have so much more, you will run into someone who may not be a DC fan, but they like this animated show or this animated movie or this Batman movie, or they like Wonder Woman. You know, like my auntie, she's not big into comic book stuff, but she likes Wonder Woman. That's DC.
And people probably
She didn't like it. She didn't like no fucking Captain Marvel
running around. People will probably still do that.
But my point is that when it comes to these DC things, there is so much, like, especially for a fan, there's so much to consume. I love that. I'm like, look,
can we make the argument cartoons or comic books then why should we assume that comic books should be held to this huge standard when watching the actual show? Shouldn't we hope that the people writing it respect what they're doing?
Remember when I said earlier, it depends on who I'm talking to. So sure. I will use my mom again for this. Because she falls into the average category. I can even use most of my friends as parents. They do not care about any comic book thing. Now, because they know that I know stuff, they will ask me stuff like, so how do you feel about that?
Conversation. I'm talking about watching.
Right, but it was because I'm part of these conversations. But look, what it is they have to like what it is, the show, the movie, whatever. But pretty much all of them, there's something that they like from both. It just depends on the character and story. But there is so much DC stuff. You can have someone like my auntie. She knows about DC stuff. Yeah. Like, she doesn't read them, but she knows who Green Lantern and Flash and Aquaman and Batman and Superman are. She doesn't have to read them because those characters have reached a level of popularity to where that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but it's like you don't have to build them up in the way that you have to build up Marvel characters because people already have an ideal. But for the sake of a coherent universe, obviously, you want to have good writing, good directors, actors, because you want the thing to make flourish consistently. Yeah, you want to make the best of it.
Yeah, and people really do need to understand that I'm the crazy person that I watch stuff twice. I'm a guy who will watch it and then I'll go, I don't know if I like that, and then I'll go back and watch it and then either make notes or do whatever. Especially if I'm going to actually talk about it. 90% of the time, I'm not gonna like fucking make notes if I'm not gonna talk about it. But like, if I'm going to talk about it, I want to watch it and then I want to see the things that I feel like got missed or whatever. One of my favorite things to do now lately is watch old shit and then watch the remake and see the difference. And you see a lot of patterns. And I would really, really implore that a lot of people do that, because I think the differences that you're going to see really are really infecting a lot of stuff lately. I'm actually a bad person. I'm gonna get a lot of fucking hate for this. I'm actually, after seeing Avatar The Last Airbender and Korra put on Netflix and seeing stuff on the internet, I'm pro gatekeeping. I think fans need to start gatekeeping and really pay attention to their lore. I think lore is important. I think the stuff that we learned as kids watching and reading cartoons and books and all this stuff, the people who really care about it are the ones that keep the stories going in a truthful way. I think everybody else who wants to jump in and say, hey, I know that thing too. I think that's nice, but I think they want to add all this other stuff to it that's not inherently there. And maybe sometimes I'm overtly passionate about keeping the lore, the comic books, the way the things were originally made. If we're going to give them out to the masses, I feel like we should give them to them the way that we originally saw them, so they can understand where we came from, not give them this new altered version to suit their needs versus us going because we like Superman and going, yeah, that was fine. You know what I mean? I know it's really strange. I 100%
get you.
That was the best way I could say that, and I understand that makes me seem like a pretentious piece of shit, and I will take the heat for that. But that's kind of where I'm at lately, seeing kind of a lot of.
I understand. I got you. I got you, John. Please trust that I got you, John. I really do.
Oh yeah.
But before I forget, because I'm into say it earlier, but you know, we got involved in this good conversation. So,
Yeah.
but Danny, your question to me about
Yeah.
Scott Adkins, right? I saw that Hercules movie. I thought it was a
Like
bit weak.
diet, like I
Uh,
can only eat meat or something. What is that?
wait, what was that?
The Atkins diet? Is that only where I can like eat bacon or something? What
No. Scott Adkins, the martial artist. Like he's in
Oh.
that movie, in that Hercules movie with Kellen Lutz, the guy from that played Emmett in Twilight, the big guy. So
Oh shit. Yeah.
yeah, like so I thought that movie was kind of weak. It has some cool stuff in it, but overall I don't think it was structured in the way that a Hercules movie should be. I
Is it
know
better
there's
than
different
The Rock?
interpretations, but I didn't. But in the context of Scott Adkins in that film, I thought he was okay, Danny. But like looking at that, and then say someone comes to me and they're like, "Hey man, you saw Scott Adkins in this, and then this and that," and then you bring up Bruce Wayne, who's a really complex character to play. You have to play him just right, and there are different ways that you can approach it. But I feel that some of the more exceptional actors can pull that off in a way. With Scott, I feel he would just have to touch up his acting just a bit for it to be convincing in that area. Because what I feel would happen if you cast him as Batman, because he would obviously be Bruce Wayne simultaneously, is that when it comes to the action scenes, it's going to be great. It's probably going to be the best fight scene in any comic book, anything ever, just because you have Scott Adkins there. But in terms of story and compelling acting, I feel that that might be missing from the story, and maybe that's what that story might need to elevate that Batman film further, from it being like, oh man, that was epic and that was badass, to like, this has some stuff that kind of choked you up, which is where the acting comes into play, that you are convinced that he is this character outside the suit. So that's how I feel about that. And then Anzo, you know, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you feel about where were you, and how did you feel about the black suit Superman?
Oh man, I was like, I think Danny sent it to me. I heard Rob was talking about it on the show last night, but I didn't go on. But Danny sent it to me this morning, and I watched it. And I was like, shit, that's what I'm talking about. You see, for me, I liked the dark kind of way that Zack Snyder was doing his Justice League movie. Personally, I didn't want to see another Marvel copy, you know. So the fact that his universe is darker, I love that shit, and I'm absolutely excited to see him finish his vision. That's the most important part to me, is that he gets to at least finish his vision. Whether it's good or trash, I could care less. Just let's finish it. You know what I mean?
And
Let's
we'll
get
have definitive.
right, because it's going to connect to everything. It's going to be a more coherent story.
Yep.
Because for me, I love Man of Steel, right? Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I stated before, like, you know, I wouldn't have done it like that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting, that level of approach, and I really do appreciate that movie a lot for different reasons. But like
Mm-hmm.
for you, when you saw it, were you with a crowd, and how did you feel about it, and like what kind of conversations were you like having
Actually,
about it
this
at
is
the
the
time?
first conversation we're having about it.
Oh
I
wow, really?
watched, yeah, I watched it by myself this morning, and conversations now, you
Oh,
know.
man.
So
I'm
I'm
wondering
excited. Like personally, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. You know what I mean? Because one of my favorite storylines is the death of Superman. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
then the return when he comes back. He has the black costume, the hair, and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you're gonna do him, kill him, bring him back properly. You know,
Right,
give us
right.
some comic book references to when you're bringing him back. You know, I hope they
Mm-hmm.
extend that fight with the Justice League. I really hope that fight comes a little bit long, like is a little bit longer. And even if it's not, and they still put it in the movie, I'm fine with that because I thought it was. I love that scene. So.
That
Right.
can I oh sorry. If I
Hmm.
may.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love the idea of Superman coming back. I love that whole thing. My biggest problem with the Justice League movie that came out, I hope they kind of rectified it. I don't like the idea that like Superman coming back nerfs everybody else. You know what I mean? And the problem is I would make the argument they kind of fucked that up in BBS already. Is the idea that Wonder Woman is almost as powerful as Superman? My whole deal is I wanted them to all be a team. And I feel like we totally did not get that in the Justice League that we got, and I'm hoping we get that a little bit more in Zach's cut.
Well, yeah, that's his plan. His plan was like that wasn't supposed to happen like that. So that's why I'm glad. Like,
no, I just hope so.
It was supposed to be Steppenwolf and Darkseid. They bring him back. He has the black suit. He's manipulated to fight the team to weaken them, and then they win him over. And then Darkseid's like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna do it myself." And then he's supposed to wreck their shit. Like,
I just want it to be good. And look, I'm never out to see a movie be bad, but usually I can see if a movie's gonna be bad. Whatever Zach's doing, it's gonna be better than whatever the fuck we got. And that's why I'm pro fucking give me a David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. That trailer that we got is nothing to that film we fucking saw. So fucking yes, I want directors, regardless of whether or not and see, this is another thing, I don't give a shit if I don't like Zack Snyder. I want his vision throughout the film. If you're going to make this film, I want to see his film. Same with David Ayer. He makes really good cop drama shit, and all of a sudden he's doing Suicide Squad. I'm like, cool, sure, I'll watch it. And then I watched it and I'm like, this movie's fucking terrible. And it's like, oh yeah, they gave it to a trailer house to edit. It's like
my thing is I had issues with Suicide Squad, but I really enjoyed it. Like,
it's gonna be better.
Either.
An Ayer cut will be 1,000 times better. I already know it. I can feel it in my bones.
Okay, see, but for me, like, I had one of my fans ask me, he's like, hey T, I know you saw the Suicide Squad and you said that you thought it was entertaining, but you had issues with it. So how do you feel about this whole, Ayer cut, this other thing of Suicide Squad? And I said, I don't care about that as much as the Snyder cut. I just don't.
I want both. I want
to. I'll watch it. Like, if it comes out, of course I'm gonna watch it.
I just want to see creators get there. I want to see creators get to act. If you're gonna fucking hire me, let me do my thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, let me finish it.
I just only explained to that human that the Snyder cut is so much more more important than the idea of the Suicide Squad. Just because this man was literally fucked over.
Okay, yeah. I can maybe.
Yeah. That's the facts of it.
But Ayer got fucked over by the studio too. I mean, like, it's one of those things where
it's not to the degree of Zack Snyder. It's not even comparable.
Tragedy, again, I feel like this came back to the Tenet thing that Anzo, you've brought up before, with the idea of pushing dates. This is where you should have pushed a date. You know what I mean? Like, you don't owe us a fucking day where we show up and see this movie. A year ago, we didn't know this movie fucking existed. If something happened and it was his vision, it's his film, give him 6 months. Give him 8 months.
I'll tell you what happened. Is that shit happened to him, right? Jesus Christ.
Oh, no! He's going to the Phantom Zone.
That shit happened to him, right? And I believe the studio's ex probably saw clips of the movie and what he was trying to do and was like, "Oh hell no, we gotta change this course right away." And then they did that firing shit and then brought in Whedon. That's what I think happened.
You know what, Anzo? There's probably part of that, but another thing too, is that, like, they also were responding to people's response to Batman v Superman, which also led them to panic. So to me,
right.
With David Ayer, you're talking about this dude was like, I would have had some more scenes with the Joker. I'm like, that's not the same thing as, like, this man telling us that wasn't my movie at all. That was nothing, man.
I agree.
But David Ayer makes good films. As much as I want to talk shit about him,
I'm not. I have nothing against. I have nothing against him at all.
That Suicide Squad movie had nothing.
But
that did not feel like a David Ayer film at all.
but the stuff that he said that he wanted to do, from my perspective, I'm like, all right, look, you
And it's
said
because you like
that
Zack.
you wanted to do more Joker. A lot of people didn't like that interpretation of the Joker. So from what I got from that is like, okay, so you're gonna put more stuff in the movie that a lot of humans didn't like. So if anything, that might be a mistake. I mean, I have to see it, and I really hope that it turns out well. And of course, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not grasping onto that nearly as hard as for Justice League, the Snyder Cut, because I've been waiting for that for years. All this stuff that he was gonna do, I'm like, none of that shit was in the movie, not a single thing. I'm like, you are completely telling us that this is a completely different movie. The David Ayer stuff, from the stuff that he's been telling us, I'm like, that's not a completely different movie.
But
All you're doing is giving people more Joker.
That's unfair, though. No, that's really unfair.
Again, in comparison, Zack Snyder's situation is completely different. It's not even comparable, really.
Well, I'd argue it is comparable, but
it's not. It's really not. Like
Snyder's is more tragic. His is more tragic, but it's the same thing.
No.
You have your own. You have your own vision, and for whatever reason, you're being told you don't get to finish it. Sure.
David Ayer only said that, like, okay, here's the difference.
Oh,
Zack Snyder, before that shit came out, he was saying a lot of stuff. Oh man, they didn't let me finish the movie. He was letting us know way before that came out. David Ayer stuff only came out after all of the negative response of the movie. I don't feel he would have ever mentioned that if people would have loved that movie.
And the only reason why I'm going to interrupt you, and I know the internet fucking hates it when I do it. The only reason why I'm interrupting you is because this is all after the fact shit. We have stuff where the movie's already out. The fact that we're even getting a Snyder Cut is, they're going to go, oh, fans did this, fans did that. Doesn't matter. Shit's not coming out. We've already set the precedent. Let's just do it. I don't understand why anybody would talk ill about it, because their moments are going, well, I mean, is this what it's going to be like for movies all the time? The director's actually going to get to have his fucking vision. It's like,
it's not going to be like that all the time. Yeah, Zack Snyder is a completely isolated, rare scenario that might bleed over until a couple of other individuals where they're like, well, let's try to do what Zack did. It's like, well, it's not the same thing, but let's see.
And hopefully, I would make the argument it does change things. Maybe less meddling, maybe a little bit more. Maybe sit on something for 6 months. And the thing I keep telling
you, maybe not, because it is going to be its own thing. It's
you never know. This is an unprecedented time.
They specifically said that it's the Snyderverse and it's not going to be connected to the DCU.
That's fine. I don't give a shit about that, because I don't even.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not even at a point where I would even put the Suicide Squad into the fucking Snyderverse. But what I'm saying is
it's not.
Suicide Squad is penis, and I think an Ayer film could be better. You're talking to a guy that thought Bright had a lot of potential, but the fucking...
I love Bright. It's sloppy and a little bit misdirected, but I like the concept. The concept wasn't executed right.
It needed a lot of world building. It should have been a series. It shouldn't have been a movie.
It had, but see, that's the thing, though. To me, I'm like,
a lot of potential.
A lot of the world building was there, but it wasn't fully realized.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of shortcomings, right?
Well, that's how I felt. Into a Will Smith film. That's not what it should have been, and. I think with the DCEU, they're giving us something that we've never seen before with potential new cuts, and I think that's the way to do it. And I would make the argument we've been doing it for a while, but not on this kind of level.
Exactly, and if you think about it, that's the making of Warner Brothers with their DC stuff. They always pull some crazy ass shit out of nowhere.
I want to see it. I want the Ayer cut, because again. If Snyder Cut works, that's a fluke, right? That's what everybody's going to call it. And again, a guy like me, I'm not going to call it a fluke, even though I don't like Zack Snyder. I think he's a guy who has a focused vision, and if he wants what he wants, he's going to nail it. Regardless of whether or not I like it, that doesn't matter.
I can't wait till that shit comes out, because
Exactly.
I already know how certain humans are gonna be. I'm like, if that shit proves to be good, I can't wait to hear all the biased fucking shit talkers that are gonna fucking come all down on that film. I can't wait.
The best one's
wait.
gonna be the people who defend the Joss Whedon cut. That's gonna be the one. That's
not just that, but also on the other side of the MCU fanboys. That shit's gonna happen too. I cannot fucking wait for it.
It's gonna
Can't wait for it.
It's gonna be absurd. And don't ever and anybody in chat, especially Ninroid, you motherfucker. Love you. Don't ever call me an MCU fanboy because I don't like Endgame, Captain Marvel, or Black Panther. I don't want to ever fucking hear that I'm an MCU fanboy. I don't want to fucking hear that shit. Second,
wait, what happened?
I get that shit all the time. Like, oh, you don't like Star Wars, you don't like this, you don't like that, because you just like fucking bullshit. It's like, okay, calm down. Like,
I know, John.
I like context.
I got call you. I got to call you out.
Bring it.
I do, because you always, for the past couple of streams, you always saying that you don't like Black Panther. But if I'm not mistaken, on that first stream we had, you never once said you didn't like Black Panther.
No. What I said was I loved it in the theater when I saw it.
You never said you didn't like it. Go back and watch that stream. You say, no, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. That's what you kept saying. You never once said you didn't like Black Panther.
I would say
Anzo is right, man.
I would say
never once said it.
I would say well, okay, well then maybe I was being nice. Maybe I was being standoffish. I have two podcasts where I have to rank shit. Captain Marvel is the lowest.
Wait, did you say you were being nice and standoffish when we asked you to explain yourself in like a 3-hour stream?
Yeah, right. My whole thing is I would make the argument I wanted to like it. I really like the character. Again, because I think Civil War is one of the best MCU, not only MCU, but one of the best superhero films ever made. And they introduced him in, and I thought he was really fucking cool, and I was very excited to see what they did with him. I like a lot of the characters that they introduced. I felt they wasted all of them, and I thought they're and again, I don't want to get into it too much, but my issue would be I don't care. I've always ranked it under definitely beyond 15. I've never put it before top 20 ever. And I don't think I've ever.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Well, but regardless, to your point, I will say maybe I enjoyed it when I started. Maybe I have misworded, whatever. But in anything, I've never put it above top 20 ever. And I never probably will. Sorry, guys.
Hey, no need to apologize. I just think that's that's crazy as hell. Not that you're literally crazy, but I'm just like, how the fuck can that happen? Like,
no, it's just a plethora of stuff, and again,
I know we gone into it, but Anzo he made a good point that you had to address.
Yeah, no, and maybe I misheard it.
And I don't even remember you putting it that low in our first stream either. I'll go back and watch it because I can't remember, but I don't remember you.
I can be nice about it, but I know for a fact.
Oh man, that's messed up.
But that means you weren't being honest. Then
lower and lower.
No, I've never put it above top 20. Ever. I've never done it.
I'll check. I don't remember, but I'll check.
I would maybe give you maybe within the 15 and 20s, but man, I'd have to be having a good day. No, my whole thing is that I felt like I got played. Like I really, really enjoyed it in the theaters, and then afterwards it was just like,
yeah. I had to do that. Danny telling me to do it, I had to do it.
Right. Man, John.
No,
John is crazy.
Danny telling me I had to do it, so I had to do it.
No, like, and I always apologize. Like, I always think, like, think I stick to my guns when it comes to this kind of stuff. Maybe if I accidentally threw off, but I swear to God, I have two like top ranking bullshit things because everybody does that for the MCU films. It was after Far From Home came out because I fucking do not like Far From Home either. So don't worry, I can hate white characters as well.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
You know why I hate Spider-Man? Do you? No, I just like I'll just always say, I don't think. Let me throw it this way. Black Panther was something that was really fun in the theaters. I went off, watched it again, felt confused why I liked it in the first place, and then I went, "This is not the character I saw in Civil War." That made me like cream my jeans and wanted everything, and it was I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me. And I think
has that ever happened to you, Anzo? Like where you were excited and then afterwards you were confused to the excitement? Like
I can't say that. I can't say confused, but I have watched movies that I thought were good at first, Last Jedi, and then watched it again and said it's trash. So I have done that.
I did it with
fair. I think because to me the underlying point was the confused of why you were.
Yeah,
excited.
no, not confused. No. There's no confusion of why I liked it. I always say I gotta see it again because, especially with Last Jedi and especially Star Wars, I'm always excited to see a Star Wars movie. You know, regardless, I'm always excited. Star Wars coming, I'm excited. So when I go in to watch it the first time, I'm just going in to watch it. And
Force Awakens got me like that.
And then the little nitpicks and I say they're nitpicks, some of them are, but story-wise and with the direction they went to, when I start paying attention to it, then I'm like, okay, this is kind of trash.
And look, and don't tell me, guys, like calm down with the confusion thing. The idea, it's like maybe that was a poor word, but the idea is you can go to the theater and be engulfed in these people on opening night or opening weekend and have a fucking fun time and walk away and go, oh, reference, oh, thing, oh, they did a thing. And then you go home and watch it and you go, wait, what? No.
I've never had that moment, by the way.
And don't worry, this is why I'm a weird creature, and I get that, and that's why people usually don't like me. I just do that sometimes. Like I said, I did it with Jumanji. I really liked Welcome to the Jungle. And then I watched the original and I go, oh man, I really don't. If they hadn't called this Jumanji, I might have liked it, but I really don't like this film anymore.
Yeah, we
and
talked
shit like
about
that
it. Go watch the
shit like that happens. And it's like, man, I'm sorry. It's like I just have new information. It's not just nostalgia anymore, or my half-whittled memories. It's me literally watching the film and then watching the next one and going, oh.
And you will have even more information with the third one. Trust me.
And I've heard good things. I mostly will eventually watch it, I think, just by accident or something, just so I can finish it out or
wow.
whatever, or to have context for Welcome to the Jungle. But honestly, I really like the first Jumanji, so solid. I just really don't care. I just don't care.
Okay.
Let me put an example out here. This is really difficult. Gamers understand. The Last of Us 2 and The Last of Us 1. I've never played either game, but we've heard about the bullshit, right? For Last of Us 2, everybody.
Yeah.
I've never played either game, but I just watched a playthrough while I was editing photos and stuff because I can't be fucking arsed to fucking play the game. But the story doesn't, honestly, the game doesn't even seem like that big of a game, quote unquote. It's a like Telltale game almost, like a cinematic thing. It's very on rails. Yes, Comic Chat, you made a fucking video on me about it. Stop it, like you're.
That was one point. Let's go with number 2.
Right.
Because Black Panther and his sister and bodyguard came out first in Endgame to help Cap.
Yo, that theater, like, look, Anzo.
I wanted Sam to land.
I want to say I saw Endgame in the theater 4 times. But anyway,
Yeah.
Each time that I went, Anzo, with that scene, like first, when you hear just on your left, right from Falcon, you heard people like, oh, like it was kind of low, right? But when Black Panther walked out, I swear to God, it was like loud, like a concert, Anzo. That shit surprised me because, I'm in the moment too. And I'm like, yeah, but everyone else did. I was like, oh,
we're coming
shit.
for a
Like,
battle. Why doesn't he have his helmet? I just, oh, man.
And then Danny has a point number 3. Doesn't want to see Falcon Black take the mantle of Cap. I see exactly what you're saying, Danny.
You know why.
I see exactly what you're saying,
know why.
Danny.
It's because why do you think I shave my head? It's not because I lost my hair. It's because I'm a fucking racist.
Oh shit! No.
Why do you think I wear the Vikings?
Okay. John, you better be careful. I feel like
what you say for real.
Like we know you playing around, but I'm just saying like.
Welcome to fucking America.
I got a question though before we end the stream. This one's more or less to Terrence because I was watching Joe Rogan, right? And he was talking about that Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Seen that movie, right, Terrence?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've seen the scene what they did to Bruce Lee, right?
Didn't even ask me.
Yeah.
Also,
no, I know.
I've only seen clips.
No, it's just because of something that Joe Rogan said. That's why, and Terrence is more of an expert on Bruce Lee, right? So Joe Rogan said that scene wasn't really, that's confirmed that wasn't a real scene or whatever. It's just for the movie. But Joe Rogan said that guy who Brad Pitt was portraying in real life would have kicked Bruce Lee's ass.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, yeah, that's weird because Bruce Lee on the set of like whether it be Green Hornet or any of his movies for the most part, there were people that came onto the set, Anzo, and sometimes they were regular people, right? Or sometimes they'd be stuntmen, and sometimes like full blown martial arts masters, and sometimes even from China. Because they didn't like that Bruce was teaching the Guai Lo, which is what they called whites and black, right? So Bruce Lee beat these people that came to the set, martial artists, stuntmen. Now, in the way that you see in that scene, now I want you to know that I thought it was funny, but at the same time, it was kind of like like this is not probably going to sit well, right? Just because of all the racist stuff that Bruce Lee went through. So for the people that are newly exposed to Lee, you don't want to do that and kind of make it confusing.
A joke kind of business out of it.
Right, exactly. So it was one of those things where I'm like, Bruce Lee, according to, his wife, his students, even like Bolo Yoon, the Chinese guy to be with the Van Damme movies and shit, like, they always said like Bruce Lee was very confident. A lot of people could see it as arrogant, but like he was very humble. Like they said that like there were plenty of times where he wouldn't want to deal with these people. He's trying to make his movie, a show. And Anzo, how would you feel if you're just, you're shooting your movie, whatever, and somebody comes in like, yeah, good. I'm gonna fuck your ass up right now. Like, how are you supposed to feel about that?
Yeah.
So he had to deal with these people, and it's like he beat them up. Sometimes he knock them out. And then they get this person off the set. So the fact that this stunt guy, this character that's portrayed by Brad Pitt is someone that actually did that to Lee is really ridiculous to me. It's too laughable. And I feel like, Joe Rogan before, when he spoke on Bruce Lee, he even spoke on that scene before, and he said that he thought it was ridiculous that you had this stunt guy beating up Bruce Lee in this respectful way. So it's a little bit odd because there seems to be a little bit of backtracking that's there. So I'm just like, okay, that's odd. I still like Joe Rogan, but that's a little odd. But that's ridiculous, though, man.
We can all have bad takes because apparently, you guys have me on the show every week.
Well, he said that the guy's built like a tank. I can't remember what it name he said. The guys said the guy's built like a tank, and he's like no slouch in fighting either. So he said Bruce Lee would have got smoked by him.
That's so silly.
Now I'll say that to what you said. So
no slouching,
have you seen that?
But even though every sport in the world says get low, like UFC is, and Joe Rogan being a UFC guy, it's like, oh, don't slouch. It's like getting low is something that's important. Take out your base, take out your foundation. Get the fuck out of here.
So
Come
no,
on.
because
What are you saying?
you're when you look at someone like Bolo,
Silly.
right?
Yeah.
In his prime and even like well into his late 50s, like in Bloodsport, Bolo was 50 years old. That's fucking insane.
Shout out to Jean-Claude.
Mm-hmm.
But Bolo being significantly heavier than Bruce, or you look at the
Are you fat
kickboxing
shaming?
champion at the time, Joe Louis, they have all said that this guy used to hit with the power of a heavyweight, which is ridiculous considering how light he was. So they said that he can generate that kind of force. So the stature of a person being bigger and taller never made a difference because Bruce often demonstrated that he was more powerful than them. And you would think that they should be more powerful than him because they're bigger. But while size does come with strength, you never know how much. But Bruce Lee
Mm-hmm.
was just exceptional in the fact that for his weight, he was really strong and really fast. And that sort of combination, the strength, the speed, the execution of the technique, I'm like, it doesn't matter how big the dude is. Bruce Lee's going to wreck him. He's going to run through him
And I've just
in a
always
way that
said,
you don't
like,
get.
I mean, we already know, like, look, like if you had like a Muhammad Ali versus a Mike Tyson, yes, if fucking Ali gets fucking decked square on in the face by Mike Tyson, he's going down. But Mike Tyson can't move like fucking Ali. Or like we could make all kinds of stuff. Why do you think Muggsy Bogues was a prolific player in the NBA? It wasn't because of his size. But you know what I mean? Like
Well,
this whole
like I
just because like you could say oh, when you're a smaller combatant you use their force against them, and judo really works with that, using somebody's force against them.
even more so Aikido, which is what Steven Seagal knows, by the way.
Fucking you and Steven Seagal, man, like what are you doing?
Because what do you mean what I'm doing? That dude
It's
has
just
4 different black belts. Like
it just makes me laugh when he gets chucked out of the fucking plane for executive order. It just makes me laugh.
Steven Seagal is a beast. He says like random weird shit, but like make no mistake, that dude will fuck your shit up. But like,
can I tell you, I want to fucking please, internet, please make it happen. I want a Terrence and Steven Seagal podcast. That's all I want. You two together. I want it so bad.
That would be so entertaining because what would happen is I would approach it as like, I'm a huge fan of his. I've seen a lot of his movies, not all of them, because I know he had like a lot of straight to video. I've only seen so many of those, and there's some that I don't know about. But I grew up watching a lot of his stuff, and I own some of his movies. I had more of them on VHS. But anyway, so with him, I would approach it from a fan perspective. I have questions, and then it will get to the point of certain things that he said that I think are ridiculous, and ask him why he said it. And then, he will have his responses to me. And it's just like, hopefully it doesn't lead with him like leaving, because he's been in some interviews, like I seen him with Arsenio Hall back in the day and stuff. And he said that the various interviewers, they're like, so Steven, so how do you feel like there's anyone in Hollywood that, you could say are real martial artists? And then Steven Seagal is kind of looking, he's like who? And he's like, well, what about, Van Damme or Michael Jai White? And he says specifically, can I laugh in your face? So, he didn't give those people any credit as being, legitimate badass on the street will fuck your shit up, which I thought was odd. So naturally, I kind of bring that stuff up to him. Like, so you don't think the Van Damme and Michael Jai White could fuck some shit up in the street? Like, I'm not saying that they could beat you, but you don't think that they should be given the same amount of respect in terms of what they've been able to do. Yeah, he is, and so is Van Damme. That's why I'm saying, like with Seagal, that's why I use the word odd, because it's like there's you have that they actually went to tournaments. You have all the stuff that they can do. They have their black belts. It's just odd. So I kind of like, I would like to ask him, why did you have that sort of approach? Is it because you don't like them, or what's going on? Because on the flip side of that, when Expendables 2 came out, they were interviewing Van Damme. They're like, man, you got you and Seagal and everyone, like what Seagal was able to do with this stuff, bringing the old school martial artists and action stars. This is amazing. Like, I feel like you guys should keep going with this as long as you got like a good story. And they're like, so do you feel like there's somebody specifically that you want to see? And then Van Damme said, he's like, yeah, I would like to see Steven Seagal in the next one, and then he's like, speaking of Seagal, he's like, I heard that like he doesn't respect you or like you. He's like, oh, he's like, I like Seagal, you know. He's like, I've met him a few times, and he was respectful and nice to me. He's like, but he said that he feels that Seagal should lose some weight, right? So
Yeah.
the interviewer started laughing, and then Venom's like, "No, no, no, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way." He's like, "I'm just saying that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, if he were to slim down, then he can do a lot of the movements better and work with
Mm-hmm.
us to make the scene great." And I love that he said it like that because he's right. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, in action movies, martial arts movies, you want to be in the best kind of condition,
Be-
especially
no, go
yeah,
ahead.
especially that he used to be slimmer and how he quickly
He used
and,
to
and he
fight.
was able to move and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of want to at least have some of that when you bring him back,
It
just so
was
that way people can appreciate him and they're not disappointed when they see him. So
yeah.
I love how Van Damme approached that in a respectful fashion. He said, "Look, this dude can fuck some shit up. It's just he needs to be a certain
Don't
way."
need to
And and
overshadow, but
and
I want
and
to hold my own.
and
Kind
and
of
he and
shit.
he and he also said that he likes and respects Seagal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going back to Joe Rogan, certain things I do feel are very odd in backtracking, especially when you have interviews and things to the contrary. Like, why did you change your mind? That's
Yeah.
something more of I feel I would have to talk to you directly because you didn't say that the last time, or where does that come from? Like, it kind of goes back to Michael Jai White because when they interviewed him and he said, I did like a 40-minute video on that shit when he was just like, oh, I'm going to win because I'm the bigger guy. And then later he apologized because he realized he was being stupid. Because it's like Bruce Lee, being as small as he was, a lot of the martial artists and people are bigger than him. And in fact, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who you guys know is ridiculously tall,
Mm-hmm.
he said that he was surprised that Bruce Lee was able to jump and kick at his head before he had time to respond. And he's like, this was no wires. It just he'd be there, stand off, like, and he just jump up and do some shit. And then fucking Kareem was like, what the hell? Like, he was constantly impressed by his speed, his strength, and agility, like stuff that he shouldn't have been able to do. He was able to do. Like, basically, when we play these different fighting games, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and all these things, you see these characters doing stuff, and he was able to do that like completely, like a video game character, except he was a real person.
Can I ask a question? I got to
Mm-hmm.
know about. This was a movie I saw. It was a biopic. It was a fake. It was a mockumentary essentially. The Jason Scott Lee. I think it was called Enter the Dragon.
No,
What
no,
do you
no, no,
think
no,
about
no,
that
no, no,
movie?
no. You're talking about
Good.
Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was it.
Now,
That's what I'm talking about.
ooh,
What do you think?
uh,
I liked.
that's a-
I liked it. I don't know if I was like
well,
off
no,
base, but I
it
liked it a
was
lot.
it was a great fucking movie. In fact, Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's wife, what they got her permission to do that shit. So
Yeah, I
she
think she was even
she
on set for some of it.
Mm-hmm.
yes, and in fact, Brandon, Bruce Lee's son, was supposed to play that character, but Brandon turned it down because you have scenes where they're kissing and having sex, and he said that it would feel weird that he's supposed to be fucking his mom and
Yeah,
shit.
good
I'm like,
call.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, I got you,
Jason
but
Scott Lee
Jason
was
Scott Lee,
dope.
he killed it though, and I'm
Dope.
like,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, before I saw the movie, you letting me know that the man's wife is on board with that. There's no reason for me to question it because I
I
don't know
loved
him
it.
like she does.
Cool. I
Thought
just
it was
need.
great.
I needed your approval because I enjoyed that film, regardless
And
of whether or not it's good. I loved it.
I just wanted to say, to go back to another topic.
Yeah.
Van Damme was fucking wicked in Expendables too.
Yeah, yeah, he
Hmm?
was, boy.
He was really good in that movie, man.
I don't know how many times did he say
Ooh,
special grade plutonium? Like how
Yeah.
many
give me a
times did my
Terrence
boy?
laugh. What do we got to do to get a Terrence laugh?
So, but I mean,
I
like
love you,
you
dude.
said though,
That's
like
so funny.
man, Van Damme, he killed it in that movie. I was like, that is definitely a villain. And then he had Scott Atkins as his right hand man. I'm like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, they about to
Hmm.
fuck some shit up.
Yeah, definitely did a good job in that movie, man. And like he's made some trash movies. Let's be real. You know what I mean? And his
Oh yeah,
acting
yeah, they
is,
all have, yeah, yeah.
and his acting hasn't always been that great, but his acting was pretty good in it. And just his demeanor as the bad guy, I was like, okay, You know what, Van Damme, you proved to me, man. You did good. I just didn't like he got his ass kicked by Sylvester Stallone at the end, but it was
Yeah,
supposed to
it
happen.
was like I'm like in real life we all know what would happen, but it's
Yeah,
like in
right.
that context I'm like, well, I mean, he's got to win though, right? Like I remember I was questioning that in the theater. I'm like, well, he's got to win, right? Because they're doing the third one. Like,
Right. That's what I figured. You know what I mean? And not only that, yeah, Sylvester Stallone have to win, but in the first one, Sylvester Stallone gets his ass whooped by Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I'm like, well, they could have let Van Damme bust his ass at least more than he did, because I don't find Van Damme really touched him much, man.
You know, Anzo. To be fair though, Van Damme was able to do his signature moves though.
Yeah, but that's about it. You know what I mean? He should have been kicking. He should have been kicking Sly all over the place, and then maybe Sly gets the upper hand somehow. But he should have been busting his ass.
He's lucky he didn't get the Stone Cold Stunner.
I think that Stallone did that right, because I'll tell you, Anzo, when I was in that theater, when Van Damme, when he kicked Stallone, I remember I looked at my friends and I was like, yeah, I'm scared for my boy too. He ain't gonna be an expendable straight.
So yeah, that definitely was a good movie. I even liked the third one. So
I did too. I thought there was a couple of creative mistakes in the watering down and the way that they did things, but I thought it was cool. But when Stallone said
Expendables,
yeah, number 3, Stallone said that for number 4 that he's going to
go back to R.
Form. Yeah,
they got to go back to the R rating.
Oh, why would you ever? Oof.
No, Stallone specifically said that he was trying to get more
a better
families.
Audience, yeah.
But the thing that's weird about that though, like while I understand, but the thing that's interesting, I'd have been like, but Stallone though, the first 2 movies they were number 1 in the box office when they came out. The Expendables, like everybody went to see that. Everyone knew about it, and I remember the conversations while we were getting popcorn and soda. You had different people like, yo, you remember that one Dolph Lundgren movie? You remember when Austin was in wrestling? You remember this and that? Like everybody was saying things,
I'm just saying, like, man, it's like people fucking act like the R rating is like a death sentence. It's like I saw RoboCop before I should have seen it. I saw Terminator 1 and 2 before I should have seen it. I saw Alien and Aliens before I should have seen it. And they're the most beloved films I've ever seen in my life. And I watch like fucking documentaries about them for fuck's sake.
I've been watching horror movies since I was like 8 years old.
Paul Verhoeven is good shit, man. Like Starship Troopers. There's no way I should have been watching that before I saw it.
And also the thing that kind of the thing aside from that too, like one of the important points is that Mel Gibson being in the movie, like, because this was before Hacksaw Ridge when he like kind of won some more people, or people were still kind of like,
dude, Apocalypto is fucked up. Passion of the Christ is fucked up, and people were sending buses to that shit.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it was risky to have Mel in that way, because I, like, as a person, I'm just like, come on, Mel, what the fuck?
Well, easy. We'll just go watch The Beaver.
But as a talent though, whether it be him directing or acting, I'm on his side only in that sense.
No, yes. Gotta be specific. Yeah, but no, I agree. No, Terrence, I'll back you up on that. No, good shit.
Well, guys,
finally did it.
3 hours. It was a great show. So we're gonna end it off by letting the people know where they can find you. So we're gonna start off with my homeboy Terrence. Tell the people where they can find you, brother.
Oh, yep. Anzo, I got one last question for you.
Sure.
Oh, shit.
All right. So this, I want you to really think about this. It's going to be an important question. Seriously. All right. So you ready, Anzo?
I'm ready.
Is John allowed on next week?
Wow. Wow, that threw me off. Like,
I'm sorry. I was fucking with you.
This one's even going to throw you off even more, Terrence. Right. Hell no.
Wait, you gotta hear. Hold on. Oh shit! I can't
right
breathe.
At the end. Yeah, right at the end. All right, go. What's your question, brother?
Yeah, what's the question?
Okay, like I've been kind of sitting on this question, like I want to say, like the last 2 hours of this stream. I was wondering if we can go 10 hours, because I feel like.
No, we can only do that if Danny's here.
You know what, Terrence? Let's be real. Let's me and you be real. We may have not have had a 10-hour stream, but we have spoken for 10 hours.
Oh man, Anzo, if we're gonna be real, I feel like that number is ridiculously low in comparison to the countless hours that we have discussed.
No, I'm talking at one time.
Oh.
At one time, we have talked 10 hours straight. I was thinking about that just yesterday because there was a time where we got off of Equilibrium.
Shout out to Apple.
3 hours, and then I didn't get off the internet and phone with you till 3 o'clock in the morning.
You know what? See, but here's the thing, though, Anzo. That is 100% facts. However, because we were not on stream,
it doesn't make
it. We were in back room. It doesn't count, right?
Yeah, Anzo's like, you motherfucker.
Can I piggyback off your question, Terrence?
Yeah, go ahead.
By giving a fucking shout out to you. Two fucking badasses, and Danny's in the chat, so I'll give him a shout out as well, obviously, as per earned. I don't know, I bitched and complained like a fucking vagina lord. Somehow our stream is still going. Anzo didn't just fucking turn it off. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So I really like this panel because you guys teach me shit and tell me, and you put me in my place when needed.
John, how long have we been streaming together by this time? I already know.
It's been like 3 months, right?
Exactly. So I already know what you bring to the table.
You guys
and
are great.
There's absolutely no reason for me to kick you out. I'll phantom zone your ass. But if to ever kick you out, hell no. I would never do that.
You're the best.
Sometimes I'll be standing there with the arms crossed. I'm like, so this
gotta
is
breathe it out, dude. Gotta breathe it.
This is the part where Anzo and Danny are gonna press that button. I'm like, and then I look back, it's like fucking Danny and Anzo with rocket launch. I'm like, wait, why'd you jump to that?
Well, and there's like a point where I always got to tell people, it's like when we talk about this kind of shit, it's like there's a point where I feel bad. It's like I can't give a redacted, like where it's like I'm not yelling at you guys, I'm just mad at the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
who wants to hear this for 3 hours? Oh, you know, Anzo the black tape, and then when he drove down the street.
Exactly.
Hey, Terrence, I 100% agree. That's awesome. Anzo, yes. Doctor, yes, great. Everything is awesome.
I always say, more or less, heated debates are very welcome.
Why do you think Stephen A. Smith has a fucking job?
Yeah, for sure.
I would love to talk to Stephen A. Smith about MMA. That would be so fucking good. Yo, Anzo, imagine that, like just the stuff where we be going back. What do you mean? And I'm just like, what do you mean, Stephen A.? And we just
real talk. Like, you guys are fucking great. Like, it's I wouldn't give up this stream. You guys are great.
No, man,
I appreciate it.
Shit is great,
talk.
Man.
As are you.
You let me bitch, and I like bitching.
we let me and Donnie let both of you guys bitch.
Wait, what? Hang on. Wait, where did? How come I got thrown into the fire with the?
I've been called the White Terrence, which, by the way, that's unfair because Terrence is like fucking galaxy brain versus me. Second, I am beige Terrence because I am Hispanic. I understand that I don't go out in the sun.
Go ahead, Terrence. Say what you're going to say because I know exactly what you're going to say. So
no. It kind of like it's no need. It's kind of like when you get ready to go out to battle. You're like, yeah, and then something happens. So John saying that I was all right. I'll put the sword away.
You put the sword away. I was waiting for the. Hold on. Man, there's only one fucking Terrence.
I just want to put. I would just want to put my ideas into the ether, and I just want all of you to think about it and then tell me I'm crazy.
Actually, Danny said real talk though. I'm guessing, yeah. Danny's saying Terrence and Terrence 2.0.
Ooh, shit. Sorry, Terrence. I'm not going to take the label.
Every time I put the sword away, I got to bring it back out.
I'm not that up my own ass, I swear. I'm not that up my own ass.
But it looks like Danny's the one that needs to get the sword with those comments, though.
Fucking high praise,
See, I didn't think I was ever going to have to raise my sword to Danny, but today is the day.
The shining knight.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse than that because at least he has these morals and shit. Me, it's gonna be like betrayal. Yeah, but no, like sometimes Anzo will be throwing me off. I'll be like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you, all of you are gonna be left here, but me, I'm going on the ship. And Anzo like, what the fuck you mean? I'm leaving you here too. Like, Anzo, he just flies off. Like,
It's funny.
Bully.
Anyways, guys, it was a pleasure. It was a great stream again, and I'm about to close this one up. Chat, thanks for coming in. Danny, you're back hosting this shit next time because I don't know if I can do this again.
damn, but Anzo, but
Shut up, Anzo. You love it.
But Anzo, I thought we were family.
We are, but I'm gonna let Danny take.
Daddy,
Danny
no.
take control, and I'll just sit in the background. I'm good with that.
But Daddy, no.
You know, I there were so many times. You know me, I have a quick trigger finger, and there were so many times you guys could have went. At least John could have went to the Phantom Zone, but I think I was being nice today.
I got one.
Yeah, because Danny was like, send his ass. So I said, okay, I'll do it this one.
Well, shout out to Chad and shout out to you guys. I love being here every week. I really do.
You were nice to me, Anzo, but I mean, I know you can't see my arm, but I kind of got shot in my shoulder one of the times. I mean, I managed to stop the bleeding, but if you keep shooting me, I might end up dying.
One of these days, we need to. No, I got it, guys. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Danny in chat. 10-hour stream, but Terrence has to face cam it.
Face who?
Oh, I see.
Terrence
where
has
this
to
is
face
going.
cam.
Oh, I see where this is going. I knew that was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a condition. Now wait, what were you gonna say, Anzo? You said it seems to. And then
no, Danny was like Wonder Twins power activate, you know, and I'm like, yeah, Danny's definitely putting you guys in the same boat.
Okay, Danny. Like I know. Okay, first of all, Danny, there's only one Terrence, and second of all, I know that you have seen a lot of stuff in the Dragon Ball universe. What happens when you have two individuals? And there are many things that are different when they do a fusion technique. What happens, Danny?
You get the Cell Bridge stuff, which is really funny.
You definitely get some abridged shit. But sometimes in life, you just gotta understand, Danny, that I don't want to use the sword, man.
Danny's saying no. Ninja is saying yes, do it. So even Ninja is calling for a 10-hour stream.
Real talk to chat. The greatest thing that can ever happen is a Terrence real laugh. I know Terrence's real laugh, and it's the best thing ever. Wait. It's a great
not even close.
Greatest laugh ever of all time. We got to watch last week's stream with the Power Ranger stuff. It's the realest I've ever had, Terrence. He's the greatest. You guys are great. I love this fucking panel. This is a good shit.
You know what's interesting is that just right now, I've come to find some delicious oatmeal cookies with the raisins in the center.
Raisins.
I feel like, I feel like because you can have an oatmeal cookie, but when it has the raisins,
get out of here! You literally eat the worst cookie ever made.
No. See, oatmeal changes your life. The first time I had an oatmeal cookie, I was on top of the world.
I actually have to agree with John. Oatmeal cookies are nasty.
What the hell? Like
someone called the Quaker Oats, man.
Wait, hang on, Anzo. What's your favorite? What's your favorite cookie? I actually don't have a favorite cookie.
I don't even know if I have a favorite, but I know yours is the worst.
Chocolate chip.
Whoa, hold on. I didn't say it was my favorite, but I like chocolate chip. What about M&M cookies?
Yeah, what M&M cookies?
Yeah.
Now
the Chip Ahoy M&Ms. Yeah, I like those.
Chewy or regular? Everybody knows this.
I like chewy
either,
but
chewy, chunky.
I like chewy too, but I like the crunchy ones. I like to dip it in my milk and shit, But there's nothing better than a hot chocolate chip cookie right out the oven.
What about a Captain?
Something
Crunch
about
cookie?
that felt really sexy.
Oh, what?
A Captain Crunch cookie.
Oh, what?
I'm in Canada, bro. I ain't got no Captain Crunch cookies.
I think that might be the second N-bomb we've ever had on this. Fucking...
I was just like, what the fuck kind of shit?
Yeah,
no, that was real. He threw an N-word at you. He's like, nah, can't have it. And I am not having it. Sorry, at the end of the day, I'm one of these fucking weirdos. First of all, Jason Momoa cookies, Samoas, whatever the fucking Girl Scout
Hey,
shit.
Jason Momoa has some
The caramel delights. The caramel delights. They're calling them Samoas or some shit
I
now.
have no idea what you guys talking about.
Wait. So Jason Momoa has like literal.
No. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh,
They call them Samoas now or something.
Okay.
Like, it was the caramel delights.
I
Or
don't know
maybe
what
they
the
call
hell you
them
guys
caramel
talking
delights
about.
now.
I got regular Oreo chocolate chip.
No, see, here I'm at. If you guys have never had, and they didn't make them this year, so fuck you, Nabisco, or whoever makes them. Every year, July 4th, dude, Oreo made a fucking cookie where they put, like the fucking Pop Rocks.
Oh yeah.
They put Pop Rocks in the fucking frosting, dude.
Oh.
You eat the cookie, and then you get the Pop Rock sizzle.
I'm trying to figure out if I had that.
It's
had
diabetes
that.
the cookie, and it's so fucking delicious. If y'all have never experienced it, y'all missed out because I don't know if they're making it again.
Wait, Anzo, you said you have Oreos, right?
Yeah.
Have you tried the one with the orange cream?
Ooh, dreams.
The orange one, no.
Oh,
And they have
Isn't
carrot
that-
cake
isn't-
and
wait, but wait.
tiramisu.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Isn't the orange one like pumpkin or some crap?
They have done a pumpkin spice. And
I know they have a pumpkin one.
That was trash.
I kind of
What
don't
are your
recall
coffee?
like what it tastes like because I think I only had one. But like the orange one is not the pumpkin one you're thinking about. It's something different.
Okay.
Because the pumpkin one is a little bit lighter in colors, more like dim. But then the orange one I'm talking about is brighter. Like when you see it, it just looks brighter. You know.
Can I say,
never had
guys? If anybody ever tells us that our podcast isn't diverse or doesn't run the, we started with fucking 3 grown ass men and usually 4. Shout out to Danny.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Stargirl for too long. Let's be fair, for grown ass men. And we
that wasn't long enough. I still have like 5 more hours of material.
Don't worry, I got plenty of shit for you to yell at me about. We'll get there. But we ended on Oreos
and cookies. Yeah, because Terrence, it seems like every time we end a freaking stream, Terrence got some cookies waiting for him in the oven.
To be fair,
hey, you know, like when the steam is coming off.
Do
you know when it's fresh? Hey, y'all in the chat, do you like when it's fresh?
Nah, fuck
when
off.
The steam is coming off and it's crisp.
Yes,
it's just crisp.
Oatmeal raisin. I don't care if you popped them out of the oven 2 seconds ago or 3 weeks ago.
I wouldn't eat that either.
No, guys, trust me, this is different. This is a different set of ingredients.
Did the cookies have a comic book, Terrence?
No. Look, I said the same thing. I was just like, no, it's gonna be the same kind of oatmeal cookie. But then when I smelled them, it was the smell and then the visual. And then when I bit into it, I am telling you, it would change your life. Like,
oh my God, we ended on cookies.
We gotta end it. We gotta end it.
With that, we are out. Peace.
Love you, chat.